Yi Emo hadn't come out after saving her. Song Yangju could already imagine Yi Emo being crushed by the mountain, surrounded by those horrendous fish in the river. Yi Emo hadn't come out after saving her. Song Yangju could already imagine Yi Emo being crushed by the mountain, surrounded by those horrendous fish in the river. She should be happy about Emo's misfortune, but she wasn't at all. She stood at the bottom of the mountain, looking at the still, raging rock slides, and felt faintly melancholic. She didn't want to cry for Yi Emo, but she couldn't hold back her tears. Why was she crying for her enemy? Why? She couldn't understand. It was as if she could still feel Emo's warmth on her body, holding the luminous pearl in her hand. She remembered how they were still together as one last night, yet today she was here all by herself. Revenge had been taken, but she couldn't pay back the debt she owed. Although Yi Emo was her enemy, he had also become her man. Song Yangju thought about her man and fell into a daze. She sat there for an entire day, unendingly crying. Was she crying for having taken revenge, or for the man that died? Only she could know. It wasn't until the third day when she finally left. The hunger she felt wasn't even the most torturous pain for her. It was the lack of direction and meaning she felt. But the past is in the past. It's best to never think of it again. Song Yangju murmured. From today onwards, Song Yangju doesn't exist. I've gotten revenge for the Song family and now I'm leaving. Like that, her figure gradually disappeared from the outskirts of the Nei snow mountains. With that rumbling sound, Yi Emo knew things weren't looking too good. He knew that if he didn't leave now, he would never be leaving. Yi Emo grabbed onto some wooden board and wanted to throw it to serve as a foothold, but he saw that the stairway had been covered by rocks and earth. Yi Emo instinctively threw the board down in the opposite direction. As expected, as soon as he stood on the board, the fish ate it all, but Yi Emo only needed to gain some momentum from the board as he jumped and landed on the opposite wall. He used his flying sword to pierce into the wall, and used it to stabilize his body. As rocks and earth kept falling, many fell on top of Yi Emo. There were some large boulders that smashed into the river, with the water even splashing as high as Yi Emo. Yi Emo quickly climbed some distance and dug a hole in the wall. At any other moment, he wouldn't want to use his flying sword to dig into stone walls, but now he had no other choice. Just when Yi Emo managed to dig a hole to store himself in, larger rocks started falling. If he had been just a little slower, then no matter how powerful he was, these rocks would have smashed him down. There was another rumbling noise as more and more rocks fell. Yi Emo's heart sunk. He knew something special must have happened. The entire mountain was shaking. He suspected that the wall he was in might fall too. Yi Emo realized that he wouldn't be able to save himself like this, so he quickly started digging into the wall again. Another hour later, the rumbling weakened, but it was definitely still there. Yi Emo estimated that he had to be somewhere in the middle of the mountain. He really was unlucky. He didn't know if Song Yangju got out either. Yi Emo sighed. It would be for the best if he never saw her again, but he also felt deep down in his heart that she was his woman. He didn't want her to have anything with other men. Was I too domineering? Yi Emo asked himself, but he immediately patted his head. His life mattered more right now. Why was he thinking about these useless things? The sound on the outside got much smaller, and just when Yi Emo wanted to halt, he found that he dug through the stone wall already. What appeared before him was a huge valley. The surroundings consisted of stone walls all over, except for a small cave formation down below. This was such a strange place. Yi Emo crawled down carefully and went around for a bit. He saw those disgusting fish occasionally in the river again, but there weren't that many. What was this place? Yi Emo looked around and found a place to continue digging. He knew that if he didn't dig through this place, he wouldn't be able to get out. Yi Emo stopped using his flying sword to dig. Although it wouldn't get broken by this much, Yi Emo didn't want to risk it. This was his only magic artifact. It was half his life. He could only rely on the flying sword to get out on the other side. Luckily, he had a lot of weapons in his storage ring. While Yi Mo continued digging, he cultivated and recovered his strength. This had become a habit for Yi Mo. It was lucky that he had food and water in his ring too. A week later, Yi Mo had fully recovered, and his power had, as expected, reached a higher level, the middle stage of stage 4. He was one step away from tertiary stage. In his joy, Yi Mo dug faster. Another day later, he had dug into a new valley. However, at this valley he could see the sky. Yi Mo rejoiced. He could fly out of here on his flying sword now. Yi Mo stood at the cliff and sighed. He could finally say he had survived. Although he didn't get the crystals, he didn't lose his life either, and his power had even increased. But before Yi Mo got on his flying sword, he dazedly looked downwards. What he saw below was a mess. There were ruins and broken bodies all over the place. Yi Mo couldn't be more familiar with the place. This was the gourd cave he had escaped from. He had actually dug all the way here. He sent his spirit sense down and scanned the place full of bodies. He could even see Xiang Mingwang's head. Yi Mo rejoiced. That bomb was really strong. The entire gourd cave had been annihilated by it. But Yi Mo had to pull back his excitement as he didn't see Ren Pingchuan. This meant that Ren Pingchuan had left. Yi Mo's felt some worry. Ren Pingchuan was his biggest enemy. He would have even preferred it if only one person had died, as long as that person were Ren Pingchuan. But Ren Pingchuan couldn't fly, so how did he leave? Upon further thought, Ren Pingchuan couldn't fly. But it wouldn't be hard for a great heaven master to leave the bottom of the valley. Yi Mo landed on the square and carefully scanned with his spirit sense. He was sure that Ren Pingchuan's body was nowhere to be found, but Yi Mo didn't find a single living being either. This was impossible. Although most of the sect members were at the square, there were some that hadn't come out too. Where did all of them go? Yi Mo walked into the ancient main hall and didn't see a single person. He was getting more and more suspicious that there had to be another exit somewhere. At the center of the hall stood a 2-meter-tall stage with an ordinary black chair on it. Behind it was a dragon-inscribed veil. Behind the stage were 6 huge pillars, each with the same strange animal on them. Yi Mo inspected the animal and quickly recognized it to be the ugly fish he saw in the river. Why was this creature carved here? Yi Mo couldn't understand. Did the gourd cave keep them? What did they represent? Yi Mo scanned the area using his spirit sense and found a stone hole. It seemed a little strange, so Yi Mo walked towards it. Suddenly, he stopped his footsteps and felt the urge to run. "You're here!" An extremely old voice sounded. Yi Mo immediately got goosebumps all over his body. It was Ren Pingchuan. This old guy didn't die and was waiting for him here? How did he know he would come? Yi Mo had kept his spirit sense out, yet still only found Ren Pingchuan from 30 meters away. How had Ren Pingchuan done that? "Since you're here already, come in." Ren Pingchuan's voice was as old and slow as before. "Since you're here already, come in." Ren Pingchuan's voice was as old and slow as before. Yi Mo tightly held on to his flying sword and carefully scanned Ren Pingchuan with his spirit sense. If he felt anything was wrong, he would immediately leave. He couldn't put himself within Ren Pingchuan's attack range. Also, Yi Mo had the feeling that Ren Pingchuan seemed capable of detecting his spirit sense. This old man was too scary. Soon after, though, he rested easy. No wonder Ren Pingchuan hadn't run out. His legs were blown off, and the area where they were supposed to be was covered by cloth. Yi Mo felt relaxed. No matter how strong Ren Pingchuan was, he couldn't do anything to him without his legs. So Yi Mo walked in slowly. "Your spiritual energy is very strange. I feel that even though you haven't come in yet, your spiritual energy can sense my actions and see everything about me. Tell me, how do you do that?" Ren Pingchuan sat on a stone chair. He didn't seem younger thanks to reaching great heaven, but actually seemed to have gotten older instead. His tone was very bland, and he didn't seem angry that Yi-Mo had blown his legs off. Yi-Mo sneered. I have such great enmity with your sect. Why should I tell you? Are you dreaming, or are you an idiot? There was a sliver of anger on Ren Pingchuan's face, but he soon calmed down. He then said plainly again, You're cultivating something very amazing. I've never seen an ancient martial artist able to fly on a sword. You're the first and only one I know who can. That doesn't concern you, Yi-Mo replied bluntly. His spirit sense was on high alert. This old man wasn't as calm and easygoing as he appeared. You can sense I'm injured and that my legs are broken. Rin Pingchuan frowned. If Yi-Mo knew his legs were broken, things weren't going to be easy. Yi-Mo said plainly, Since I came inside, I'm of course not afraid of you. Regardless of whether your legs are broken, there is just as great an enmity between us. Stop wasting time and tell me what you want to tell me. Rin Pingchuan wasn't angry this time as he continued. Young man, you're called Yi-Mo, right? Do you believe that if that bomb had exploded 3 seconds later, I wouldn't have gotten injured? I had just reached great heaven and didn't even have the time to recover my chi when that bomb exploded. You can call yourself lucky this time, but you won't always have such fortune. Yi-Mo sneered. It's my business if my luck lasts or not. I was just passing by here, so if there's nothing else, I'll be going. Of course, Yi-Mo didn't want to leave just like that. Ren Pingchuan's legs were broken, and he seemed to be injured. This was the best opportunity to kill him. Yi-Mo really wanted to kill Ren Pingchuan right away. He was at the great heaven stage. Sure, but his legs were broken. He couldn't pose much of a threat to Yi-Mo. Not to mention, Yi-Mo had also powered up, so he was much more confident of his odds this time. Do you think I can't kill you with my legs broken? Ren Pingchuan asked slowly. Before Yi-Mo could reply, he continued calmly, Leave behind your heritage, and I promise I won't touch you. I will even give you great wealth. However, if you refuse, then see for yourself if this broken-legged great heaven master can kill you or not. Rin Pingchuan then followed up. You might be able to escape, but after you do, I will go to Flowing Snake and start a carnage. I don't mind turning all of your friends and family into feed for the water wolves. Yi-Mo had already wanted Rin Pingchuan dead, but now he wanted it even more. Yi-Mo took 2 steps back and locked onto Ren Pingchuan with a spirit sense. He knew he didn't have a way to sneak attack him and could only clash with the Man-Heaton. But suddenly he noticed that behind Ren Pingchuan was a metal lid that covered a well to the underground river and the strange fish. Yi-Mo felt disgusted. So those strange fish are kept by you? Ren Pingchuan laughed. Strange fish? After you find out how useful they are, you won't call them mere strange fish anymore. If you agree to my demand, I'm willing to take you in as my disciple, and I promise you will be able to reach great heaven within 1 year. But my guess was right. Your spiritual energy can indeed see what's behind me. Rin Pingchuan's eyes were glowing from excitement just thinking about attaining that magical cultivation method. Yi-Mo didn't speak yet and just kept his eyes focused on Rin Pingchuan. He knew Ren Pingchuan still had more to say. Body-devouring water wolves, they aren't fish. Their blood contains essence, chi of the flesh. A cultivator who drinks their blood can use their inner chi more efficiently and get stronger faster. There are no side effects, Rin Pingchuan informed. Yi-Mo almost puked after hearing that. Even if he had to stay at the chi gathering stage 1 forever, he would never drink the blood of those disgusting animals. Keeping hundreds of thousands of these water wolves, no wonder you were able to reach great heaven, Yi-Mo jeered. As though not seeing Yi-Mo's derision, Ren Pingchuan continued, Do you think just any water wolf's blood is useful? It has to come from an adult water wolf. To qualify as one, it needs to grow 4 legs and 4 claws. You must have encountered them yesterday, right? Yi-Mo was angry. This old thing knew about it, so that explosion had to have been related to him. Thinking about this, Yi Mo sneered. So that explosion a few days ago was your work? You also knew about that ancient tomb? Ancient tomb. Rin Pingchuan shook his head. I don't know about some ancient tomb, but the underground river water wolves are all kept by my sect. I caused the explosion indeed, because no one can spill the secret of the water wolves. Even if it meant losing a lot of them, I need to kill the person who knows about it at all costs. Yi Mo suddenly realized that if they could just casually be used to get stronger, then wouldn't things be too easy? With that many water wolves, each sect member could eat 1 or 2 a day. As though knowing what Yi Mo was thinking, Rin Pingchuan said, Do you think you can just let them kill each other and they'll automatically grow for legs? I can only say you're naive if you think like that. Although killing each other can make them grow their 2 front legs fast, they could never grow their 2 rear legs with only that. They need to eat living people to grow properly. So you dumped the remaining gourd cave sect members into the water to feed those monsters. Yi Mo asked subconsciously. Rin Pingchuan confirmed without hesitation, that's right. You blew apart the whole gourd cave, and without living humans they would starve to death, so I could only feed my sect members to them. This was their contribution to their sect. Yi Mo breathed out slowly and sneered. You old piece of sh*T, you're really shameless. Eat my sword. Then Yi Mo swung at Ren Pingchuan with immense killing intent. This time, Yi Mo only used 80% of his qi to confuse Ren Pingchuan into thinking that he was using his full power. Rumble, Ren Pingchuan punched out, and Yi Mo felt his sword qi get shattered as he was smashed back by Ren Pingchuan's qi. This time, however, Yi Mo was doing it on purpose. He flew out of the cave using that force, since it wasn't good for him to fight Ren Pingchuan in a small place anyway, especially when taking into account how Ren Pingchuan's legs were broken. When Yi Mo landed, he felt that Ren Pingchuan's qi had gotten much stronger than it was a few days ago, but it was lacking in quantity. Ren Pingchuan was heavily injured indeed. Yi Mo was shocked. This old guy was this heavily injured, yet still so strong. If he were fully recovered, Yi Mo would have nowhere to run. Was a true great heaven master really that scary? Chapter 502, A Centimeter Faster Than You. Chapter 502, A Centimeter Faster Than You. As Rin Pingchuan watched Yi Mo jump out of the cave, he was angry. He didn't expect Yi Mo to not care about what he was talking about and attack him. You don't want to reach great heaven. Rin Pingchuan tried to suppress his anger, but it was still obvious that he was furious. Yi Mo flicked his flying sword and said coldly, Great heaven? I've seen it before already, nothing much. There's a great heaven in Beijing too, so I can always ask him about it. Why stay here in this terrible place? This is just too disgusting. Rin Pingchuan frowned. There's no way. The essence qi of the world is very low on the outside. There's no way to reach a high stage in inner qi cultivation out there. How can there be a great heaven cultivator? Unless he has water wolves too, but only the snow mountain water is capable of keeping water wolves alive. Rin Pingchuan didn't mention that even if you had water wolves, without understanding the laws of the great heaven, you can't reach great heaven either. He had gone into solitary cultivation for 18 years, yet wasn't able to reach great heaven. He was only finally enlightened on the great heaven laws when he experienced Yi Mo's flying sword. Of course, he wasn't going to tell Yi Mo that. There's someone called Tan Jiao who reached great heaven. Although he isn't as strong as you, but he's also a master. Yi Mo didn't say that he fought with Tan Jiao. He really wanted to know why there was such a huge difference. Ren Pingchuan sneered. Insolence, that's called great heaven too? If I'm not wrong, that Tan Jiao is at most the same as Xiang Mingwang after reaching great heaven. He probably wasn't even able to increase his longevity. Once you reach great heaven, your life increases by 60 years. If I hadn't been injured by the bomb, I would look much younger now. Before Yi-Mo asked anything, Ren Pingchuan continued, "There are many ways to reach great heaven. One is to keep up cultivation until you open up the Ren and Du meridians. I tried that for 18 years with the help of the water wolves. Yet I wasn't successful. The second way is to, when your chi reaches its peak, find an opportunity to gain sudden enlightenment dash." As though only then realizing that he was revealing his secret, Ren Pingchuan suddenly halted his sentence and said instead, "Without the help of the water wolves, there's no way to reach your chi's peak." That Tan Jiao might have used an incomplete method of reaching a type of fake great heaven, pseudo-great heaven. Pseudo-great heaven is also a type of great heaven, and, once stabilized, it is indeed far stronger than the peak of Earth level. Seeing that Yi-Mo was still listening, Ren Pingchuan slowly reached his hand into the cloth. Yi-Mo didn't seem to mind, so he continued, "The main mark of being great heaven isn't having opened the Ren and Du meridians, but having formed a sea of chi. Pseudo-great heaven cultivators can't form a sea of chi. They can only store their chi in the Ren and Du meridians. Thus, fake great heaven martial artists aren't that much different from Earth level 1's dash." Suddenly, Ren Pingchuan pressed some device, and the place Yi-Mo stood on suddenly collapsed. At the same time, Ren Pingchuan pushed himself off from his chair and flew up palming towards Yi-Mo's head. The strong chi slapped above Yi-Mo's head, and there was a clank, the sound of a metal cage closing. Ren Pingchuan was sure that Yi-Mo wouldn't be able to escape from that. As long as he kept Yi-Mo in a cage, Yi-Mo wouldn't be able to escape. He was sure that Yi-Mo would tell him everything after he tortured him. Ren Pingchuan felt something was wrong, though. But before he could react, a fierce killing intent pierced towards his ribs. Ren Pingchuan cursed. He didn't have time to think about how Yi-Mo had escaped and managed to ambush him. He quickly flipped in the air, wanting to dodge the attack. But since Yi-Mo attacked, he wasn't going to let Ren Pingchuan dodge. This was his only chance. Ren Pingchuan had no way of gaining momentum in the air while also being heavily injured, but when Ren Pingchuan landed, he would be at the disadvantage. Rumble. Even in the air, Ren Pingchuan's fist force still shattered Yi-Mo's sword chi, making it so that it could only lightly slash his ribs. This was what Yi-Mo expected. He only used 80% of his chi in the 2 previous strikes for this last coming attack. He never expected to be able to kill Ren Pingchuan in the air from the onset. Yi-Mo focused 100% of his chi the final time and shot out a searing white sword light from his flying sword with infinite killing intent at Ren Pingchuan. Yi-Mo knew this was his do-or-die moment. If Ren Pingchuan had any backup measures, he would be dead today. He was betting on Ren Pingchuan having no means left. Ren Pingchuan was furious. He knew that Yi-Mo wanted to kill him before he could land, but Yi-Mo underestimated him too much. He was still a great heaven master. Even if he couldn't get momentum in the air and was heavily injured, he wasn't someone an average martial artist like Yi-Mo could face. Ren Pingchuan punched as fast as he could at the sword light. He saved some of his power, which he would use to counterattack when he landed to give Yi-Mo the lethal blow. He believed that Yi-Mo's 2 attacks must have used up all his power. But this time, the sword clashed with Ren Pingchuan's fist and sliced off his arm as it cut a 5 centimeters deep gash into Ren Pingchuan's waist. Not good. Ren Pingchuan's face changed. As he landed, he punched out again. Yi-Mo was sent flying, but Ren Pingchuan was also forced to sit down on the ground with a pale face. Yi-Mo's dantian was churning, and he immediately spat blood but felt relieved nonetheless. Although he was injured again, his plan had been fulfilled to perfection. Such a sneaky brat, you actually conserved strength. Last time you were almost killed, but you still didn't use 100% of your power. Was all that just for today? Ren Pingchuan didn't bother stopping his bleeding. He knew that even if he did, he had lost completely today. He just didn't expect Yi Mo to be this scheming. Yi Mo sneered and didn't say that he had simply gotten stronger. He just stared coldly at Ren Pingchuan with his flying sword at the ready. Thinking about Ren Pingchuan's power, Yi Mo was still shocked. If it wasn't for Ren Pingchuan trying to sneak attack him, putting himself in the air, he might not have won the battle today. Furthermore, if he hadn't powered up a little, he wouldn't have won either. Ren Pingchuan was very unsatisfied. He had only reached great heaven for a few days, yet he lost his legs and was going to lose his life to this young man. If he knew that Yi Mo was hiding his power, even if he got injured, he wouldn't have lost his hand and gotten this wounded. Ren Pingchuan spat blood and stared at Yi Mo before saying, "How did you know that I was going to ambush you? If you won't tell me this, I won't be satisfied in my death." Yi Mo moved far away from Ren Pingchuan. Although he wasn't injured heavily, if this guy tried to put out a last attack, he would be the one to suffer. He only needed to waste time with this old man now, and throw a fireball or wind blade every now and then. Hearing this, Yi Mo smiled. "You know, I have a spirit-sensing ability, but you're still this careless. I was wondering about what the gray button did on your chair from the beginning. Oh, and I have a small magic art called wind control. Precisely when your hand was 1 centimeter from that button, I started using it." Seeing Ren Pingchuan's face turn uglier, Yi Mo was getting happy. He wiped the blood from his mouth and smiled. "I was 1 centimeter faster than you during your attempted ambush. I was waiting for you to press that button. Good thing you were a good boy and pressed that button, successfully ambushing my afterimage." Ren Pingchuan spat out more blood. Yi Mo smiled even brighter. "Sect leader Rin, you can die with peace of mind. I will make sure no such thing as the Gourd Cave exists among the hidden sects any longer. Don't worry about that. By the way, eat a fireball." Then Ren Pingchuan saw a fireball charge over at him. He was more shocked. There was such an art in the world. His eyes were full of disbelief as he stared at the fireball piercing his chest. Chapter 503. A Place That Belongs to Him. Chapter 503. A Place That Belongs to Him. Yi Mo looked at the mere ashes Ren Pingchuan had been turned into, and stood there being dazed for a while. That fireball was just meant as a warning, and he was sure that if Ren Pingchuan had wanted to dodge it, it wouldn't have hit. Pity he still had some questions to ask him, where the spirit well was. But now he couldn't find out the easy way. Yi Mo searched around the Gourd Cave and only found some stone rooms and prisons. He didn't find the entrance to the spirit well. What a pity if those 4 magical crystals were spirit stones. Perhaps he could have used them to reach stage 5. Perhaps the spirit well wasn't here in the first place. Yi Mo left the Gourd Cave on his flying sword in disappointment. From then on, there would be no more Gourd Cave. As for the spirit well, he would go ask Feng Wu. Perhaps he was now the only one who knew its whereabouts. When Yi Mo came back to the entrance to the ancient tomb, he saw that everything had collapsed and that Song Yangzhu was also gone. She had probably left. He suddenly thought of that small fox. If he saw it now, he would be able to capture it easily. This past couple of days, Yi Mo had gone through too much. He wondered how Qing Shiyue and company were. Thinking about them, Yi Mo no longer had the mood to stay and shot into the clouds on his sword. Although he hadn't left Flowing Snake for long, when Yi Mo came back, he felt the change. There were construction teams everywhere. Xiaohuo was bringing people around on patrol. There were no longer those forced businesses on the streets. Yi Mo nodded. This was the Flowing Snake he wanted to see. When the land truly became his, perhaps he could build a city. Yi Mo knew that it was impossible to cultivate to the point where he could ascend to the immortal realm here. Since that was the case, he might as well find a place to live with his loved ones for the rest of his life. He didn't know if Qing Shiyue came back already, but Yi Mo felt very uneasy. He felt guilty towards her. He knew that Qingxue had wanted to properly consummate their marriage. Yet he went and had that with someone irrelevant. Ning Qingxue sat in her office, looking at the plans for construction, when she suddenly stood up. She had the feeling that Yi Mo had returned, a feeling that was inexplicable. "Ifei, I'm going out for a bit." Ning Qingxue went downstairs and onto the streets. Yi Mo suddenly stopped as he saw Ning Qingxue run towards him from afar, and suddenly felt a lot more peaceful. This was his family. Yi Mo. Ning Qingxue saw that her feeling was right. Yi Mo was really back. She excitedly ran into Yi Mo's arms. Yi Mo hugged Ning Qingxue and saw the merchants around him laugh. Ning Qingxue, who had always been very reserved, ran into his arms in the middle of the street. She must have really missed him a lot. "You're back." Ning Qingxue woke up from her reverie as she realized they were in the middle of the street and struggled out of Yi Mo's embrace. Her tone was very soft. "I'm back." Yi Mo grabbed her hand and felt at ease. This was what he wanted. "Brother Yi is back." Xiao Hu was like a trumpet and immediately ran over with the patrol team. Yi Mo and Ning Qingxue didn't have any time for intimacy after that. Su Yuehua, Yu Miaodan, Zhang Jiayan, Su Ping, Hu and Yi Ling all came over. Yi Mo felt warm. This was his home. He had decided that no matter what happened, he wouldn't let anyone come to Flowing Snake to hurt those around him. Half an hour later, Yi Mo and all the management-level staff of Flowing Snake sat in a huge meeting room. Yu Miaodan stood up first and said, "I'll talk about the situation of the company first. Luo Yu Pharmaceutics has very little variety in products, and the prices can attract those with lower economic capabilities, which isn't good for the market. The majority of the market are in fact those middle-class citizens, so I suggest we expand into the lower price ranges of the market." Yi Mo nodded and replied, "Sister Yu is right, but right now our products are being supplied worldwide with high demand and low supply. When the beauty pill slows down in sales, we will push out the beauty medicine. Right now we need more capital and we're lacking producing power, so we can't excavate the lower end of the market yet. Also, how go the negotiations with Liu Se and Vietnam?" That was what Yi Mo cared about the most. Things are still in the negotiation phase, but the two countries seem interested in our products, and they aren't planning on passing on them, Su Yuehua said. "No rush if they don't agree. I will think of ways to make them agree," Yi Mo sneered. Although his territory officially belonged to the two countries, if he hadn't built Luoyu here, this land would still be a dumping site. Now that their company was doing well, they all wanted a share. Yu Miaodan intervened. "If we build a city here, we have to take into account the land near Guilin, which belongs to China. Should we start negotiations with them? Also, the Chinese military has sent people to negotiate with us, wanting to sell the health pill together with us. Though due to issues concerning the pricing, we haven't reached a consensus yet. No need, we're in no rush for that piece of land. They can give us that wilderness at a later time." Yi Mo waved his hand and smiled. Then he turned to Zhang Jiayan, ordering, "Build 2 more factories for me. They need to be larger than the ones before and built in the same style as the beauty and health pill factories." Yi Mo needed large amounts of money, and his factories were like money printing machines. Yi Mo still felt like that was too slow, though. Who? Did a young man called Zhang Hua arrive here?" Yi Mo thought of that young man who was capable of making medicine. Perhaps he would be of good help. "Master, he has come. He's in the herbal research facility. He likes the environment here. Should I call him over?" Who said, "No need. Try to help him when needed. He has good talent. It's even higher than yours. Our 2 new factories will be depending on you two." Yi Mo was very happy with Zhang Hua. "Brother, there's me too. I have great expertise in herbs dash." Yiling noticed how Yi Mo didn't praise her and was unsatisfied. Ning Qingxue smiled and pulled Yiling towards her. Your brother is definitely praising you in his heart." The meeting went on for 2 hours, and Yi Mo thoroughly understood Flowing Snake's progress by the end of it. He didn't point fingers at people that much. He only needed to point out a general direction, and they could do the rest. After the meeting, Yi Mo made Su Yuehua and Su Ping stay behind. Ning Qingxue didn't leave as in everyone's eyes when Yi Mo was not around. She was the owner of Flowing Snake. "Sister Yuehua, do you have something to say to me?" He noticed that she wanted to say something but didn't. Su Yuehua nodded and said, "After we had a negotiation with Lu Se increased the number of their military near Flowing Snake. I suspect they could launch an attack at any time. I'm very worried about this. If their military comes, then no matter how prosperous Flowing Snake is, it would all be for nothing. Not to mention, it's completely legal for their military to come, since 80% of our land is actually theirs." Yi Mo frowned. This was indeed a problem. If he had any better alternative elsewhere, he wouldn't want to stay here either. Su Ping nodded. "She's right. Hence I've started secretly gathering troops." Su Yuehua continued. "Although Brother Su had started gathering troops, we have no weapons nor heavy armaments." Yi Mo didn't worry about weapons. The gangs in America, he knew, were perfect for that, and even if he couldn't get weapons from them, he could always go to the U.S. military's vault for some. He would need to increase the space in his storage ring first, though. Suddenly the phone rang, and Su Yuehua spoke a few words before her expression changed rapidly. "What is it?" Yi Mo asked. He had heard some of the call, but not all of it. Lu Se increased their military at the border of Flowing Snake again and sent 2 business management personnel requesting to fully take over Luoyu. They said all management personnel has 24 hours to leave Flowing Snake, yet all the technical personnel must stay. Right now, Fong Nan and CEO, you are buying time with them, Su Yuehua said worriedly. Lu Se increased their military at the border of Flowing Snake again and sent 2 business management personnel requesting to fully take over Luoyu. They said all management personnel has 24 hours to leave Flowing Snake, yet all the technical personnel must stay. Right now, Fong Nan and CEO, you are buying time with them, Su Yuehua said worriedly. They're this unreasonable. Yi Mo almost didn't believe her words. You're saying while they take back Flowing Snake, they will take our company and our technical staff too? Yi Mo was really stunned. Su Yuehua nodded. Yi Mo sneered. If Lu Se had only told them to give Flowing Snake, that would still be reasonable. It was their land after all. But if their greed included his men and his company, that was too domineering. They clearly knew that their company wasn't registered in China, and thus thought Luo, you wouldn't be able to take their entire country on. Leave this to me. Sister Yuehua, you and Qingxue further discuss the building of a city. Second brother and I will go. Yi Mo stood up immediately. He wasn't angry. In fact, he was happy. He didn't think Lu Se would really dare be that domineering. It was clear that they were simply trying to bargain. Seeing Yi Mo walk out, Su Yuehua didn't understand, but Ning Qingxue did. She knew Yi Mo's means, but there were some things which she couldn't reveal. So she said to Su Yuehua, Sister Yuehua, he told us to discuss about building a city. We should listen to him. Before Yi Mo had gotten downstairs, a gunshot shook the silence apart. 2 parties were facing off at the level 1 foyer. There weren't many people from Lu Se present, only 10 armed soldiers and 2 people who seemed like negotiation representatives. Yu Miaodan, Fong Nan, and Zhang Jiayan were there too, as well as Yang Jiu, who had more than 10 guards with him. A member of the patrol squad laid on the ground. Xiao Hua looked at the Lu Se soldiers in anger. From their contemptuous expressions, one could tell they didn't care about some weaponless Luoyu people. They didn't care even though they'd killed someone. Don't fire, one of the Lu Se representatives who didn't have guns quickly commanded. But his expression showed that he didn't care at all that someone had been shot dead. Perhaps in their eyes, They of the military were above all. No matter how good Luoyu was doing, they were still nothing but a bunch of citizens and merchants. They could treat them however they liked. CEO Yi, Brother Yi. As soon as Yi Mo came, everyone greeted him, but everyone was visibly angry. They didn't have guns. Yi Mo understood that these people had come to assert their dominance to increase their bargaining position. Are you the president of Luoyu? My name is Maisa. Our troops have misfired, which I am very sorry about. We will give the victim appropriate compensation and wish to express our sincere apologies. The man said very genuinely, as though his men had really misfired. Yi Mo sneered. He knew these people had come to assert dominance and test Luoyu's bottom line. If Luoyu acted overly timidly, they would send troops to take over the place then and there. If Luoyu acted tough, they would negotiate about some form of cooperation. They weren't afraid of Luoyu, but they were afraid of Luoyu causing too much drama on the international stage. Yi Mo was calm and didn't say anything. Seeing this, Yu Miaodan said angrily, "These guys are too unreasonable. They clearly killed one of ours on purpose. Yet they call it an accident. These people now not only want us to leave Flowing Snake, but also want us to give Luoyu. CEO Yu, Flowing Snake belongs to us. And as we need to set up barracks here, of course you need to move away. For our troops having misfired, we have already apologized and will definitely offer compensation," Maisa said. Bullsh *T. How about I kill one of yours too and give you some compensation? Yu Miaodan was very angry. She had never been this angry, yet ever since leaving the gangs. Maisa saw that Yi Mo didn't talk and started to look down on him. This Yi guy was a coward. Everything would be easy for them now. Hearing Yu Miaodan's words, his face sunk, and he said, "CEO Yu, things don't work like that. This is our land. It doesn't matter if our military killed someone here. Us wanting to offer compensation is simply thanks to our humanity. We didn't actually do anything wrong." "Are you threatening us?" Yu Miaodan asked coldly. Yi Mo didn't speak, but that didn't mean she was going to back down. "If you must think like that, that's up to you," Maisa said. Yu Miaodan sneered. "Flowing Snake belongs to Lucé? How come I heard this place was ownerless? At the end of the Eastern Han Dynasty, this was the home of a tribe called the Guanghe. Because there was no good land here, and it was just barren mountains everywhere with a lack of a reliable water source, the people living here moved away. 100 years ago, a Lucé fugitive escaped here and gathered a bunch of men to rob by the borders, forming the Flowing Snake Fort. You're saying that this is your land because that fugitive was one of your men, right? You're making up stories." Maisa didn't know about that and was so angry he couldn't talk. His soldiers raised their guns. Yi Mo's eyes brightened up. He didn't know about this story either. Keeping that in mind, Yi Mo immediately ordered, "Sister Yu, you stay, everyone else should leave." Although they didn't know what Yi Mo meant, they still left. Seeing this, Yi Mo sneered at Maisa. "You've got some balls killing people at my place." Maisa was about to answer in derision, but before he could talk, Yi Mo flung out what seemed like tens of lights. "I've used these needles for quite some time already. You can enjoy them now. Using the military to threaten me? A small place like Lucé has no right." Yi Mo's tone was cold. If he wasn't afraid of sullying his territory, he would have just used wind blades on them. Slump! The soldiers fell to the ground. All of them had a red dot at the center of their forehead. This man was crazy. He dared to openly kill their troops? This was like challenging their entire country. "You." Maisa pointed at Yi Mo, not knowing what to say. Yi Mo sat down, and another gold needle shot out. The assistant by Maisa's side was also killed. "What?" "I'm leaving you alive so that you can tell the person in charge that I will be visiting him tonight. If you don't order your army to retreat from the border within 24 hours, you can all collect his body. Now piss off." Yi Mo was very contemptuous of this guy. Yi Emo felt more and more that this world was one where if you don't kill, someone will kill you. You take a step back, they abuse you harder. If these soldiers hadn't killed and had only threatened, then he would have at most mutilated them. Second brother, when Maisa leaves, tell him to take those trash bodies with him. Also, break his arms and legs, Yi Emo said to Su Ping. An hour later, Maisa, with both his legs broken, scurried away with some troops from the outside. Although Maisa had been the person in charge for this, he didn't dare order an attack without clearance. He had only come to threaten and apply pressure. He didn't expect the CEO Yi to be so decisive and kill almost everyone without hesitation. An hour later, Maisa, with both his legs broken, scurried away with some troops from the outside. Although Maisa had been the person in charge for this, he didn't dare order an attack without clearance. He had only come to threaten and apply pressure. He didn't expect the CEO Yi to be so decisive and kill almost everyone without hesitation. He had wanted to assert dominance by killing one, but immediately, all of the men he brought were killed instead. He would also be dead if he wasn't needed to return with a message. This wasn't what had frightened him the most. What he was shocked about the most was how that CEO Yi had killed his men. He didn't even see it happen. That was too eerie and frightening. He had to report this to the president. Yu Miaodong didn't wake up from her shock in a long time. Although she knew Yi Emo was strong, she didn't expect Yi Emo to be this strong. He merely waved his hand, and more than 10 men were dead in the blink of an eye. Yi Emo was much stronger than when she first met him. Of course, she wasn't most shocked about this, but about how openly Yi Emo had dared to kill Lu Sei's soldiers. CEO Yi, this would make Lu Sei furious. Won't they start a war with Flowing Snake? We don't have any fighting power. Yu Miaodong woke up. No matter how powerful Yi Emo was, what if their whole army came, or what if they sent out airstrikes? Yi Emo smiled. Although a war happening was possible, he wouldn't let that happen. He could of course kill the army that came, but that wasn't his goal. Even if he was to kill, he would kill the general or kill the highest commanding power in Lu Sei. Don't worry, I will deal with the Flowing Snake business. Sister Yuehua will need to purchase large amounts of materials, so you and CEO Zhang should cooperate with her. Yi Emo had decided to go to Lu Sei himself. It was best to take care of this early on. Yi Emo really didn't want war. War would bring no benefit to Flowing Snake. This matter was best settled without startling any international organizations. Luo Yu was just a company, after all. It wasn't smart for a company to go against a country. If Yi Emo truly were powerful to a certain extent, even if it was just foundation establishment, that would be fine, but Yi Emo wasn't that strong yet. Yi Emo was planning on visiting Lu Sei at night, so he needed to ask Ning Qingxue about some things beforehand. He didn't even have time to be intimate with her. As Yi Emo returned to his place, Ning Qingxue was already waiting for him there. Qingxue, dash! Yi Emo only just walked into the room, and Ning Qingxue already came up and embraced him, blocking his lips with hers. Yi Emo hugged Ning Qingxue tightly. The two had been more apart than together. Ning Qingxue couldn't resist the longing for Yi Emo in her heart. Yi Emo lost himself in the softness and wetness, as that warmth and power she had made Ning Qingxue irresistible. The kiss went on for half an hour before the two breathed heavily and looked at each other. You have to go somewhere again. Ning Qingxue didn't want to let Yi Emo go. She didn't want Yi Emo to be always running around. She wanted him to always be with her. Although she did want a calm and carefree home, if that meant Yi Emo had to work really hard for it, she would rather not have it. Sorry, Qingxue dash. Yi Emo felt guilty about spending so little time with Ning Qingxue and about his affair with Song Yangzhu. Ning Qingxue blocked Yi Emo's lips with her finger and said, I just want to be with you. If building a city is too hard, then just forget about it. No, it's not hard for me to build a city, and I want a place that belongs to me as well. I can't just bring you deep into the mountains like the hidden sex, so we definitely need to build a city, Yemo said adamantly. Ning Qingxue didn't try to persuade him. She nodded. In fact, I'm sorry about another thing. The other day Yemo was hesitant, but he still told her what happened with Song Yangzhu. Where is she now? Unexpectedly, Ning Qingxue asked about her. Yemo shook his head. She probably left. I don't think she will come find me again. I just feel guilty to you and Luoying. MHM. Ning Qingxue didn't ask any further about Song Yangzhu and just laid in Yemo's arms. Yemo didn't know if she was angry or not and didn't know what to say. After a while, when it was already dark, Ning Qingxue's soft voice sounded, I want to stay with you this night. Yemo felt warm in his heart. How could he not know what she meant? She was a conservative person. So for her to be able to say such words, it truly signified that Yemo meant everything in her heart. She didn't even mention anything about Song Yangzhu. Yemo lifted her face up and kissed her again. Qingxue, I said I would marry you gloriously. If I can't find Luoying, then when we build Luoyu City, it'll be our moment. MHM. There was something Yemo didn't say. He really wanted to have that with Ning Qingxue, but what he also really wished was to find lots of resources so that everyone around him could reach Foundation establishment. But that was very hard. Out of 1,000 cultivators in Luoying, only one could reach Foundation establishment. Ning Qingxue's talent was good, but if he took her virginity before she reached Foundation establishment, it would be harder for her. He didn't want to make her lose that opportunity. But he didn't want to tell her yet, since he didn't want to give her the mental burden. By the way, did those mutants come for you again? Yemo remembered what he'd wanted to ask her. No, one time though, one of them apparently went to U-State, and Yifei found out, but she didn't manage to capture him, Ning Qingxue said. Yemo nodded. This thing wouldn't just end like that. But since he had returned, he didn't need to worry about it. After having dinner with Ning Qingxue, Yemo left Flowing Snake. Yemo went to the border and saw that the army didn't have any signs of leaving. He killed the scouts he saw on the way without hesitation. At that moment, the security was extremely tight outside the president's office. The atmosphere there had clearly increased in intensity. Marshal Mohance, Secretary of National Defense Eugene, and that Maisa as well were all there. Eugene was short and had bulging eyes, with which he stared at Maisa as he questioned, Is what you said true? He really killed 12 of our troops in less than a second and said he would be coming tonight? Maisa was sweating, and he quickly confirmed, I didn't lie about a single word. He really is that sort of person. I suspect he's a wizard. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's the truth. Humph, he wants us to retreat within 24 hours? Although our country is small, no mere merchant can abuse us. We won't retreat. Instead, tomorrow we move in. Secretary Yu, do you believe this wizard bullsh *T? The tall and bulky Mohance commented. He was annoyed at Eugene asking this and that. It was just some guy who knew how to fight. He heard of many people who were strong at fighting one-on-one in China, but could they face an entire army? Hai Modin, the president, frowned and said after a while, That president, you probably came from China. Eugene nodded. That's right, we're still investigating more about him, though. But there shouldn't be any other forces intervening, Eugene said. But there shouldn't be any other forces intervening, Eugene said. Hai Modin shook his head. That's not what I mean. Although there's no clear statement saying who Flowing Snake belongs to, everyone agrees that it's our land. I'm worried that if that Yemo really is a wizard, then no matter how strong our armies are, he can just kill our commanders. How are we going to fight that? Mohance said in contempt, If he's really that strong, shouldn't he be here now then? Didn't he make Maisa come tell us that he was coming tonight? Then how come I don't see him? No one agreed to Mohance's words. And he stopped halfway as well, because suddenly an extra person had appeared in this room. Everyone stared at him, not knowing where he came from. Yi Mo had come to this meeting, but since he didn't understand a word, he could only walk out. He's the president of that Luo Yu. So he's really a wizard, he really came. Maisa screamed. Hearing this, the guards at the door thought something had happened and rushed in, but as soon as they did, Yi Mo threw 2 fireballs at them, and they were turned to dust. Yi Mo then found a place to sit and sat down before saying, Maisa, it seems you guys didn't take my word seriously. There's not much time left from the 24-hour time limit. If you don't make a move soon, then don't blame me. I will kill you guys first, and then I'll take care of your army. I'll kill every living thing I see. Everyone realized now that what Maisa had said wasn't nonsense. He was the first to react and translated Yi Mo's words. Not only Hai Modin and Eugene's faces were pale, even Mohant's couldn't say anything. They were sure Yi Mo was a wizard now. A strong wizard at that, like one from the legends that could curse an entire country. We agree, we agree. Without arguing any further, Hai Modin kept nodding. He felt regret for how greedy they'd been. Due to it, they offended a wizard. Lu Se was still an imperial state a little over 10 years ago. They'd only recently become a democratic country. So Mo Haydn's power was much stronger than other presidents. Our president agreed. Our army will retreat immediately, please rest assured. Maisu kept nodding like crazy. Yi Mo knew they wouldn't dare reject him. But he didn't think it would be this easy. Yi Mo didn't expect them to think of him as some all-powerful wizard. Since they'd agreed, Yi Mo didn't need to kill anymore. He looked at Maisa and said, Do I still need to give Luo Yu? No, we'll immediately give you the governing right of Flowing Snake. Maisa answered without even asking the president. This was too simple, wasn't it? Yi Mo had wanted to kill 1 or 2 higher-ups, but he didn't even have to ask anything. Yet they already agreed. Sign this sale of territory agreement and send it to Flowing Snake by tomorrow. Yi Mo took out an agreement and dumped it on the ground. Then he shook his head and left through the window while invisible. This was for some extra show too. He needed to make them fear him. People fear what they cannot comprehend. The 4 saw Yi Mo disappear out of thin air and looked at each other. No one spoke for 10 minutes. If there wasn't for the agreement right in front of their eyes, they would have thought it had been an illusion. In her subconsciousness, Ning Qingxue felt like she was being embraced. She was shocked, but that familiar smell allowed her to realize that Yi Mo was back. In her joy, she squeezed deeper into Yi Mo's arms. Yi Mo used a few mind-calming chants to calm himself down and sighed. After that incident with Song Yangzhu, he seemed to have gotten a lower resistance to these things. The next morning, when Yi Mo was still in bed with Ning Qingxue's phone rang. It was Yu Miaodan. When Yi Mo and Ning Qingxue went into the meeting room, Yi Mo found that almost everyone was already present except for him and Ning Qingxue. Yi Mo didn't mind, but Ning Qingxue's face was burning red as though the whole world was looking at them. Yu Miaodan took out a document and put it in front of Yi Mo. Lu Se gave up Flowing Snake for free and sent this agreement earlier this morning. They didn't make any requests. Yi Mo smiled. This was as expected. Wasn't he just too kind? A more evil person would have perhaps made Lu Se compensate. As soon as Yu Miaodan finished, Sui Wahua got up and said, In the morning, I received another news. Vietnam also said they're willing to give us the Flowing Snake territory, but they have some conditions. They have an entrepreneur who also wishes to invest in us. They want us to give them tax-free privileges and easy passage, and they want us to open an outlet in Vietnam. Yi Mo nodded. These are 2 pieces of good news. We'll agree to Vietnam's condition. To us, it doesn't matter if we open an outlet there or not. Yi Mo then left Su Yuehua to deal with the city building. Once his power was high enough, perhaps at Foundation establishment, he would set up a formation over the city, making it the strongest fort on earth. After the meeting, everyone went to their respective positions, and Flowing Snake became busy again. Yi Emo wished to go find Fengwu now that all the planning had been pretty much taken care of. He wanted to ask about the spirit well and the crystals. He could power up from them, and perhaps after that he could go to the inner hidden sects to find more herbs. After experiencing Ren Pingchuan's power, Yi Emo didn't want to casually enter the inner hidden sects and put himself in danger again. Sister Yuehua, do you have something? Yi Emo saw that Su Yuehua didn't leave and asked. Su Yuehua nodded and said carefully, "Last time you told me to investigate the northern sand, and today our men reported back with some news. It's from Vietnam." Yi Emo got excited. Su Yuehua took out a letter and said, "Northern Sand seems to have lost something important to them, and the member responsible for it has also escaped. They are searching for him all over. I have a picture of him." Then Su Yuehua gave the letter to Yi Emo. Yi Emo took it and said with praise, "The people you sent out really are something, even being able to get a picture." Su Yuehua smiled and said, "This was also our luck. We didn't take the picture. They found a heavily injured Northern Sand member who was about to die and got it from him. Technical personnel has escaped." Yi Emo thought of the space flower blueprint. If that was what this man was responsible for, and Yi Emo managed to find the guy and bring him to Flowing Snake. Yi Emo quickly opened the envelope, and it was a bundle of obscure photos. Luoing. Yi Emo was dazed after seeing one of the pictures as he noticed a certain figure in the crowd. Luoing. Su Yuehua didn't know what Yi Emo meant. Luoing. Su Yuehua didn't know what Yi Emo meant. Yi Emo looked at the photo carefully and ignored the escaped Northern Sand guy. He only noticed a slim figure in one corner of the photo. That was Luo Susu. Yi Emo's mind had wandered off into the desert, under that searing sun, to the yellow-dressed goddess that was out of this world. Seeing Yi Emo seemingly lost in thought, Su Yuehua didn't say anything. Yi Emo was probably reminiscing something. She waited for Yi Emo patiently. "Sister Yuehua, do you know where this photo was taken?" Yi Emo breathed heavily. Even though the photo was dated 2 months ago, and he might not find her even if he went to the location of the photo, he had to go check at least. Su Yuehua shook her head. "We found this on the Northern Sand member. We don't know where it was taken." Yi Emo nodded and said, "Okay, thank you, Sister Yuehua. Stay alert on the topic of Northern Sand, but for now, put the main focus on building a city. We must build our own city." Su Yuehua said, "President Yi, our current power still comes from Guilin, but due to the scale of our constructions, the supply isn't enough, and if we want to make Flowing Snake our own, we can't rely on others too much." Yi Emo had never thought about this. If he relied on others, there would be a conflict of interest, and he would be held back. Thinking about this, Yi Emo immediately said, "We'll continue to recruit large amounts of technical personnel and excavate our own civilian facilities. We must control all of it." "But our funds," Su Yuehua uttered worriedly. Although Luo Yi was earning a lot, they were spending more than they made. Funds were an issue indeed. Yi Emo frowned for a while before saying, "I'll deal with the funds. You start on it in the meantime." After Su Yuehua left, Yi Emo was left thinking about how to earn money in his office. He had face-preserving pills and luminous pearls, but these were unique items. Once they were sold, they'd be gone. But it was still better than not selling at all. If he took it to a normal auction, he wouldn't be able to sell much. That face-preserving pill AHD only sold for 100 million with Emo Hai's help. This was far from what Emo would be happy with. It would appear he needed to go to that space organization from the Shixia Temple. Only they could sell it for a higher price. Just when Emo was thinking about how to earn money, Yi Ling ran in with red eyes. She was clearly worried. "Brother, something happened to second brother. He disappeared last night." Someone sent a letter to Flowing Snake in the morning for you, saying it's related to second brother. Yi Ling handed Yi Mo the letter. Was his name still not big enough? Someone dared touch Yi Zifeng? Yi Mo had stated that Yi Ling and Yi Zifeng were his siblings. If someone had dared touch Yi Zifeng, he would slaughter all involved. At the same time, Yi Mo wasn't too happy with Tan Jiao and Luan Qingfeng. It was because they had agreed to protect the Yi family that he let Tan Jiao live, yet now Yi Zifeng was abducted. "Don't worry, let me look at what this is." Yi Mo comforted her and opened the letter. The letter was very polite, too polite even. "Mr. Yi Mo, we've heard of your big name, and if possible, we would never want to mess with you or cause any misunderstandings with you. Hence, we didn't take your sister and took your brother instead. Please understand, Yi Zifeng is living very well here. We wouldn't mistreat him at all, so please rest assured. We just need to discuss some things with you personally, but because we had no way of seeing you, we could only use this measure. If you don't mind, please come to the Otherworldly Entertainment Center in Luotsang City within 3 days." There was no time nor person nor reason given, just a location. Yi Mo knew the Otherworldly Entertainment Place. That was the HQ of Metal River. Why did these people choose that location in Luotsang City furthermore? Yi Mo got that this thing was 100% related to him and that Yi Zifeng was probably just taken due to him. Who had he offended? He killed everyone who he offended. Even those people who might scheme to target him. They wouldn't dare to touch the people around him. "Yi Ling, don't worry. If you have time, learn to cultivate qi with Qingxue." Yi Mo patted her shoulder. With this, Yi Mo once again confirmed that no matter how strong he was, without his own land, a safe base, the people around him wouldn't be safe. As long as there were benefits involved, people would still target him. Ning Qingxue had also heard about it. Yi Mo wasn't too worried about her now, as she was already at the peak of stage 2 and had learned the fireball magic. She should be able to protect herself. "Qingxue, I'll leave the matters here to you. I will bring Zifeng back." Yi Mo stood up and said. Regardless of what their motives were or how polite they were declaring war by abducting Yi Zifeng. There were many ways to contact Yi Mo, yet they chose this one. Yi Mo had wanted to stay at Flowing Snake for a while with Qingxue and earn some money, but then this thing had to happen. He was very angry. There was just no end to these things. He couldn't even get one moment of peace. For the first time, Yi Mo felt that there were more and more people around him, yet those who were really capable were only Su Yuehua, Yu Miaodan, and a few others. His men didn't have much power. However, if you take Qianlong Tu, for example, even though he was only a mafia boss, no matter where he went, he was someone feared. Was he too kind? For the first time, Yi Mo felt that he needed to arm his men. He needed his own army and stronger power. "Perhaps I should go to Sai Na when I'm free. It'd be a good idea to store an army there," Yi Mo murmured. Thinking about this, Yi Mo suddenly stood up. Although the order of the world was already set, and it was hard to build his own army and city, since he'd made up his mind, he had to do it. He wouldn't allow others to control the fate of those who followed him. Luotsang, Otherworldly Entertainment, seemed much more grandiose than last time. Yi Mo walked in, and a pretty-looking waitress approached him immediately. "May I ask if you're Mr. Yi?" Yi Mo nodded. "Please follow after me, Mr. Yi." This waitress was very polite. It was obvious she had been especially waiting for Yi Mo lead the way. Yi Mo's tone was calm. His spirit sense had already scanned the 30 people at the top, and Yi Zifeng wasn't there. The waitress took Yi Mo to a special elevator, and with it, they soon stopped at the top. She didn't follow Yi Mo out. Instead, 2 men in black were waiting at the door and gestured Yi Mo to walk in. Yi Mo scanned around casually. This top-floor room was around 200 SQMS. There were 23 men dressed in black, and although they were seemingly empty-handed, Yi Mo knew that each of them had a gun behind their back. Chapter 508, Dominance. Chapter 508. Dominance. Those 23 men in black were strong men, and they didn't look simple at all, but in Yemo's eyes they were no different from insects. The strongest of them all was only at the yellow level, primary stage. Other than the yellow level guys, there were 4 black level fighters standing above the 23 men, but Yemo didn't care about them either. The only ones Yemo took notice of were the 3 sitting at the very top. The man in the middle was dressed in white and had no power. He seemed like an ordinary person, but the 2 beside him caught Yemo's attention. The left one was tall and had a sharp nose. His eyes were blue, and his energy wave was very strange. Yemo couldn't tell his power level, but he guessed that the guy was similar to the mutants he had killed before. The man on the right was of a medium build, had an eagle-like nose and a cold glare to him. This was a peak Earth level warrior. Although Yemo didn't have to mind them, he still felt like this organization wasn't simple. For a negotiation with him at Luotsang, they brought this many powerful men. Yemo had been in contact with the hidden sects a lot and knew that an Earth peak stage cultivation wasn't easy to have. Even Dian-Tsang, the 4th ranked hidden sect, only had 1 Earth peak, and it was their sect leader. Yemo didn't dumbly think that this was all of the organization's power, nor would he think the white-clothed man was the big boss. But Yemo had even killed someone as terrifying as Ren Pingchuan. He wouldn't be scared of these people. If they were to fight, he had the confidence to kill everyone there in an extremely short amount of time. He didn't want to have a big feud with this organization. But if he didn't show his willingness to kill, they would only abuse him more. So he had to kill people today. However, Yemo understood that even if he killed, he shouldn't kill the top 3 people. If he did, there would be no going back. Those 2 probably had a certain status in the organization, but that white-clothed man was most likely even higher. But if these people were too demanding, Yemo wouldn't mind fighting them to the end. The white-clothed man didn't speak at first as he inspected Yemo, saw how calm he was, and didn't seem scared at all, and finally nodded. He got up and said, "You're Yemo? I have been hearing your great name a lot lately, and upon seeing you, I see that you are indeed a dragon amongst men. Please have a seat. I'm called Liang Shirgua, and it's an honor to meet you." Yemo sneered. The white-clothed man sat at the top, yet told him to sit below. There would be more than a 10 meters distance between them. He clearly wanted to assert dominance, right from the start. Contrarily, Yemo didn't sit down and said coldly instead, "My patience is limited. Get my brother here quick." And these 2 rows of black-clothed men, I don't like them. Tell them to piss off. Liang Shirgua didn't seem to have heard Yemo, and said instead, "First, I would like to express my deep regret for having had to invite Mr. Yi Zifeng over, but we have a crucial request for you, and we would like to apologize for what we did." Liang Shirgua seemed very genuine and humble. "Did you not hear what I just said?" Yemo hadn't seen Yi Zifeng yet, so he wanted to be patient for now. This time Liang Shirgua didn't play dumb and put on a difficult face. "Mr. Yemo, you could kill the Black Sun Ninja on stage, which would be another clear testament to your dominating power, but I'm not in control of the stronger people by my side." Yemo smiled. "That means if I were to put them to sleep, Mr. Liang wouldn't mind." "Huh." Liang Shirgua laughed. "Of course not. But I wouldn't be able to fathom what reaction they would have. I know your power, but there are 23 of them, not a mere 2 or 3. Then Liang Shirgua looked at Yemo with irony. He hadn't mentioned that these people had guns, but in this open ground, no matter how strong Yemo was, he wouldn't be able to kill them all in a few seconds. They could fire within a second, and no one would be able to dodge. Although once one reached the black level, one could catch a bullet, these guns were specially crafted. Even Earth Peak fighters wouldn't be able to stand his ground against one, much less so many. As though to back up Liang Shirgua's words, as soon as he spoke, the 23 men took out their guns. "Since Mr. Liang won't mind, that's great. As soon as Yemo said this, he jumped up. Liang Shirgua's face changed. He didn't expect Yemo to really attack. Did he not want to live? If the 23 people fired, even immortals wouldn't be able to get away. Even if, like those Black Sun ninja, he could travel through Earth, he wouldn't be able to travel through this concrete floor. Liang Shirgua didn't want Yemo to die. He had many ways for Yemo to die, but he just wanted to cooperate with Yemo. He knew Yemo was very strong and didn't want to offend him too badly. That's why he chose to abduct Yi Zifeng. He heard that Yemo cared about his women a lot. The reason why Yemo caused the Song family's decline was Yemo's wife, Ning Qingxue, and Dongfang she had died for wanting to touch his sister. This time, Liang Shirgua chose carefully and abducted Yi Zifeng. This wouldn't offend Yemo too much, yet would also let him know of their power. If they then lowered their attitude and gave some money, perhaps they could even establish a friendly relationship with Yemo. This would benefit them greatly. But he didn't expect Yemo to be this violent and attack immediately. Bang bang, the black-clothed men acted fast and shot as soon as Yemo jumped. But the gunshots stopped just as rapidly. After that volley, they stopped altogether and Liang Shirgua was dazed. Yemo stood where he had, as though he had never moved. But the 23 black-clothed men and the 4 black-level fighters had all fallen to the ground. If it wasn't for the blood trickling from their body, Liang Shirgua would have thought they were just taking a nap. You dash, Liang Shirgua froze. This many people having died this time, even he wouldn't be able to report back without consequences. They had lost 23 elite members and 4 black-level warriors just like that. These black levels were deemed precious resources within the organization. Each death would be called a huge loss, not to mention 4 deaths at the same time. Liang Shirgua didn't expect Yemo to react like this. The 2 men beside Liang Shirgua were about to attack, but Liang Shirgua quickly stopped them. He knew Yemo had the power to kill the Earth Peak warriors too, and if these 2 died, his only option would be to kill himself. How can you kill so many of our men? Liang Shirgua tried to force himself to calm down, but he couldn't. Yemo smiled. I asked you before, and you said you wouldn't mind, so I killed them. Yemo, I know you're strong, but you can't kill my men before we even start negotiating. If you kill all of us here today, can you annihilate the entire Northern Sand? Liang Shirgua calmed down. He felt like he needed to make Yemo know what sort of an organization Northern Sand was. No matter how strong Yemo was, he was only one person. So they were from Northern Sand. Yemo was sure that Suiwehua wouldn't have let others know that he was investigating them. In that case, why did they abduct his family? Was he easy to abuse or something? Hearing Liang Shirgua's words, Yemo sneered. Negotiation? When did I say I want to negotiate with you? Did I let you abduct my brother willingly? I'll say this once more. We can negotiate, but you must get my brother here first. Also, don't sit that high up, or you might fall to your death. Are you not afraid of us killing your brother? And we invited you over to negotiate in the first place. Why are you so aggressive? I know you're strong, but our Northern Sand isn't something to be messed with. Liang Shirgua was getting angry. He had already made his power clear to Yemo, but this guy was still so arrogant. Yemo sneered, You can kill Yi Zifeng. But if you do, I promise you that the 3 of you won't leave this meeting room alive. And from now on, I will kill Northern Sand people whenever I see them. I won't stop until I kill you all. Humph. That white-clothed man clearly understood Yemo's words and wanted to fight right then and there. Liang Shirgua stopped him, though. He knew that even if the 2 were to beat Yemo, they would be heavily injured in the procès. Yemo could even kill all of those Black Sun ninja. Although his 2 men were strong, none of them could kill so many ninja alone. Liang Shirgua's expression showed his anger. Yemo was too cocky. But he had to do what Yemo said. If he had dared do that, he was sure he would also kill the three of them. Liang Shirgua's expression showed his anger. Yemo was too cocky. But he had to do what Yemo said. If he had dared do that, he was sure he would also kill the three of them. Although he wasn't happy about his men being dead and the fact that the negotiation power was in Yemo's hands, Liang Shirgua had no choice now. He pressed a button on the table and said, "Bring Yi Zifeng here immediately." After that, Liang Shirgua said again, "Mr. Yi, we are gathered here to have a genuine discussion with you, but you killed 27 of our elite men as soon as you came. Is this the way you do things? Our northern sand isn't something to be messed with easily. Even if you're absurdly strong, you can't protect the Yi family and Flowing Snake all by yourself." Yemo smiled. "If you want a genuine discussion, then don't play tricks. As I said before, don't threaten me. Your northern sand is strong, and that's your business. I have no intentions of becoming your enemy, but I'm not afraid of you either." Yemo knew that Liang Shirgua was not someone that got easily subjugated. The reason he was acting soft wasn't because he was afraid of death, but because the thing they were going to discuss with him was very important. "You're very arrogant, and if you think you can go around showing off just because you killed that ninja, then you're wrong. That ninja was nothing. Chen Jue, could have also killed him in a short time. Yemo, we don't want to get into a fight with you, not because we're afraid of you, but because we have no conflict of interest. A friend is better than an enemy." It was the Earth Peak level man speaking. Liang Shirgua frowned, and he thought it was a bluff. The ninja had been said to be able to easily kill Earth Peak level martial artists. Yemo looked at Chen Jue with surprise. He didn't think Chen Jue was lying. After all, the ninja was only good at movement techniques. Those who fought him the first time were at a disadvantage. But once one figured out his movement, he would be at most an Earth-level middle-stage martial artist, or even less. Yemo realized that Yi Zifeng had now entered an otherworldly entertainment. He didn't want Yi Zifeng to see the bloody scene, so he scanned Liang Shirgua and said, "Let him go alone." Liang Shirgua knew what Yemo was talking about, so he gave the order. Since Yemo was here, there was no point in keeping Yi Zifeng. "Okay, now that your brother has left, can we start our negotiation? If you wish to continue negotiating, then please come into the secret room." Liang Shirgua got up and said. Yemo smiled. Liang Shirgua didn't dare to sit above him then, so he said, "In that case, please." It was as though nothing had happened and the bloody scene was not related to Yemo. Liang Shirgua regained his composure and led Yemo into a small room. This room wasn't big, at most 40 square meters, but Yemo found 3 cameras as soon as he came in. They were well hidden, but no matter how hidden they couldn't escape from Yemo's spirit sense. He took out 3 golden needles and destroyed the cameras. All of this happened in an instant, and no one noticed. Although Yemo didn't know why Liang Shirgua was taking him there under surveillance, he didn't like to leave evidence behind. "Mr. Yi, let me introduce them to you. These 2 men are Chen Jue and Peter. I hope the discussion will go smoothly." Liang Shirgua introduced each other. Yemo sat down and said straightforwardly, "Mr. Liang, if you have something to say, just say it. No need to waste time." Yemo knew that a conflict had developed between them. No matter how polite he would be, Northern Sand wasn't going to give up on getting revenge. And even if they were to get revenge, they would have to do it after Yemo died. He had heard about their organization. They had great ambition, and they wouldn't offend a master like him for 20 or 30 irrelevant people. "Then I'll say it. Mr. Yi, I believe you've heard about the issue with the Hefeng Yuan family, right? Although you didn't appear, we know it has something to do with you." Liang Shirgua stared at Yemo and said. Yemo sneered. "There was no point in denying it. That's right, I annihilated the Yuan family." "Great, I love your courage for admitting the things you have done." Liang Shirgua clapped and said. But then he added, "Yuan Zhirong is an outer member of ours. It was his fault for going against your Luoyu. However, we left something with the Yuan families. and for some reason later on we couldn't find it on Yuan Zhurong. Then Liang Shurgua stared at Yi Mo, studying his expression. He was looking for something. Liang Shurgua gave him a long stare, but he didn't get what he wanted, so he continued. Later on, we believed the government had it, but after investigating, we are certain the government doesn't have it. So, someone must have taken it. Hence, we invited you over today, wanting to ask if you've seen it. Yi Mo thought about it. It was probably the golden case he found next to Yuan Zhurong's crash. No wonder no one stopped the plane from leaving back then. There were Northern Sand people among the higher-ups, too. Northern Sand was really scary. They were everywhere. What thing are you talking about? Yi Mo frowned and asked. His expression showed that he knew nothing about it and irritation. Liang Shurgua's heart sunk. He had studied countless people, and he was very calculating and experienced. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been responsible for that. But he couldn't get anything from Yi Mo's expression. Even if Yi Mo denied it, as long as he knew it was on Yi Mo, he would have been able to get it from him through other ways. If it had been someone else, they would have captured him and interrogated. Now Liang Shurgua understood why his higher-ups didn't do that. He only had that chance, and now that Yi Mo had asked, he said, "It's a golden case with a fist-sized crystal inside. It looks like diamond, but it's not. It's a type of ore. This thing has no use for others, only to our Northern Sand. If Mr. Yi could find it, we're willing to pay 10 billion for it." Yi Mo was shocked. Not even a diamond's worth could compare to that price. What kind of crystal was worth that much? It seemed he needed to have a closer look at it. If that thing was that precious, he needed to find out from Liang Shurgua what it did. $10 billion wouldn't be used up in a long time, even in Flowing Snake. This Northern Sand really was wealthy. If he killed them, wouldn't all that wealth be his? 10 billion wouldn't be used up in a long time, even in Flowing Snake. This Northern Sand really was wealthy. If he killed them, wouldn't all that wealth be his? Thinking about this, Yi Mo was excited, but then he thought, that doesn't seem very possible. It said there are a lot of Northern Sand bases. How could he annihilate them all? It wasn't just killing 30 people like today. It was reasonable that he killed today because it was Northern Sand that offended him first. But if he really pissed off Northern Sand, he wouldn't be able to protect his people with his current power. Thinking about this, Yi Mo was dejected. He was a mighty cultivator, yet he couldn't even protect those by his side. It seemed he would need to cultivate faster and increase the power of his men. No matter what, he needed to know what the crystal was for. He couldn't ask questions with all these guys around, so he had to come back at night and ask privately. Other than that, the 10 billion also interested Yi Mo. He wasn't going to pass on that. Thinking about this, he asked Mr. Liang, if that crystal is only fist-sized, wouldn't Yuan Zhurong have hid it in a secret place, and you guys might have missed it? Liang Shurgua shook his head immediately. That's impossible. We have a detector which can detect it within 1,000 meters, and it didn't find anything at the Yuan family. No wonder, even with the power of Northern Sand, they didn't attack him straight away. They did suspect him, and probably even went to Flowing Snake to check. But of course, they hadn't found anything. Storage rings were really good things, weren't they? Yi Mo knew that there was no high-tech in the world that could detect what was inside his ring. Yi Mo suddenly looked intensely pensive, as though making a hard decision. Mr. Yi, although we don't know why Yuan Zhurong would blow up his mansion, the secret meetings footage that was leaked was probably related to you, right? You've been to his house, and that's why we're asking you if you know where it was. Liang Shurgua reacted to Yi Mo's expression just the way he wanted, and this made him excited. Yi Mo smiled. I was the one who moved the bomb to their mansion, and you're right, I made the footage too. Although I don't know what that crystal is, I will go try and find it. Simply for that 10 billion alone, it's worth it. Liang Shurgua frowned. He didn't quite get what Yi Mo was thinking, but he thought Yi Mo didn't know where the crystal was. In that case, we won't disturb Mr. Yi anymore. I'm deeply regretful about this misunderstanding. Of course, if you do manage to find the crystal, please contact us at first notice. This is my card. Liang Shurgwa got up and handed Yi Mo a golden card. Yi Mo suddenly reached out his hand to Liang Shurgwa and said, I'm very sorry, Mr. Liang. I didn't think it was something this small. If I had known, I wouldn't have offended the northern sand. I hope you can understand my desperate feeling at the time. At the same time, I wish to help Mr. Liang find that crystal as fast as possible. Mr. Yi, this is like getting to know each other through conflict. If Mr. Yi can really find the crystal, then even bigger conflicts wouldn't matter at all, Liang Shurgwa said with a smile. Yi Mo sneered. He knew that Liang Shurgwa was implying that this thing wasn't over. If he found the crystal, things might be better, but if he didn't, he would be receiving Northern Sand's fury. Yi Mo shook hands with him, just so he could mark him with his spirit sense. He wasn't going to let this Northern Sand off easily. Naturally, since I've decided to help you find the crystal, I will look for it wholeheartedly. How much time are you willing to give me? Yi Mo knew that he hadn't completely started war with Northern Sand yet. He needed time to develop his own strength. Liang Shurgwa was dazed. He thought Yi Mo was just agreeing on the surface, but wouldn't be doing anything. Yet now it seemed that Yi Mo really wanted to help them find the crystal. Liang Shurgwa said happily, I think if Mr. Yi can find it in a year, then not only will you get the 10 billion easily, but you will also get other surprises. What Liang Shurgwa didn't expect was that after shaking hands with him, Yi Mo shook hands with Peter and Chen Jue too. His expression was hospitable and deeply regretful, as though this misunderstanding was all his fault. Not only Liang Shurgwa, but also Peter and Chen Jue were weirded out by Yi Mo's drastic change in attitude. They didn't think of Yi Mo as someone timid, so after thinking about it a bit, only that 10 billion could explain things. Yi Mo left otherworldly entertainment, but he didn't leave Luotsang yet. He still had some business to take care of that night. He had marked them all. After making sure no one was following him, Yi Mo went into another busy district and wanted to find a bar. Then he heard someone call out his name. Brother Mo. A young girl's voice sounded. It's you, Youngie? Yi Mo remembered her. This was the girl which sat in the same carriage as he did when he first came to Luotsang by train. She wasn't that pretty, but she was a very kind soul. After finding out that Yi Mo had had his wallet stolen, she wanted to give Yi Mo money, but Yi Mo didn't take it. It really is you. Brother Mo, it's been so long. After you and Heir who left, you never contacted me again. Yang Yi said happily. Yi Mo looked at her awkwardly. If he didn't see her here, he would have forgotten her indeed. Xiao Yi, who is he? A guy of medium build walked over and looked at Yi Mo in confusion. Yang Yi quickly said, This is Brother Moing. He's very good at medicine. Brother Mo, this is my boyfriend Lu Shang. By the way, how is your clinic going? Yang Yi spoke a lot. Hello, I'm Lu Shang. Yang Yi's boyfriend shook hands with Yi Mo in a friendly manner. Yi Mo then said embarrassingly to Yang Yi, Sorry, Yang Yi, I should confess that due to certain circumstances, I didn't tell you my real name in the past. I'm actually called Yi Mo, and I stopped by clinic. Heir who is doing very well. You're welcome to come hang out with us when you have time. Before Yang Yi could reply, a group of people came. Yang Yi, Lu Shang, what are you two still doing here? Let's go, a young girl called out. She was a little short, but her face was very exquisite. Okay, we're coming. Yang Yi turned to Yi Mo and said, Sorry, we're about to graduate, and we're having a celebration. Why don't you come with us? I don't think it's appropriate for me to go. Yi Mo wanted to go find Liang Shurgwa and company at night. He wasn't interested in these gatherings. Yang Yi whispered in Yi Mo's ear, This time it's the richest person in my class paying for everyone at Yunshang Pearl. It'd be a waste not to go. Yi Mo knew that restaurant. It was a 5-star restaurant, but right now he wouldn't want to go to even an 8-star restaurant. Before Yemo could reject, Yang Yi said, "You get to see an extremely beautiful girl today." Gu Mingnan literally found her. Yemo smiled but didn't talk. "Do you not believe me? He really found her. Last time when he went deep into the mountains to play with some friends, they found her unconscious and injured. Gu Mingnan saved her and she stayed at his house. It's said that she's getting better, and so he's bringing her tonight to show off," Yang Yi explained. "Come on, let's go together, Brother Yi. I still want to go see Erhu after dinner, though." Then, Yang Yi dragged Yemo along. "Come on, let's go together, Brother Yi. I still want to go see Erhu after dinner, though." Then, Yang Yi dragged Yemo along. Yemo shook his head and thought he might as well go. "Yang Yi, who is that?" that small girl asked as she saw that. Yang Yi let go of Yemo and said, "He's my cousin. If you're interested, I can introduce you." The girls laughed and started asking about Yemo. The group entered the Yunshang Pearl in laughter and joy. The place was indeed very grandiloquent. Yang Yi's gathering took place on the 9th floor. When Yang Yi brought Yemo in, there were already more than 10 people there. Seeing Yang Yi, everyone greeted her and soon started talking about the girlfriend Gu Mingnan had found. Eventually, even Yemo got curious. He wanted to see what sort of woman would be able to cause such a ruckus. After listening for a while, Yemo only found out that the woman was called Luo Luo and that she was much prettier than even movie stars. Other than that, he also heard that Luo Luo had been found near the Duanheng Ranges. It was said that Luo Luo had been very depressed ever since waking up and didn't talk much. "Brother Yi, if it wasn't for the fact that she was found by Gu Mingnan, I would think you two match quite well. She seems to have the same temperament as you. It's that feeling you can't really describe," Yang Yi said. Yemo smiled and didn't say anything. Lu Shang quickly said, "Xiao Yi, don't say that. If Gu Mingnan finds out, he won't be happy." Aren't you a bit too timid?" Yang Yi said loudly, and her voice caught the attention of many other students. Lu Shang blushed and didn't say anything. Yemo quickly signaled for Yang Yi to sit down. He could tell Lu Shang was a careful person and cared about her a lot. "Mingnan and his girlfriend, Luo Luo, are here. Let's applaud." At this time, someone clapped. A young man and a woman in her 20s came in. The woman had a faint white veil over her face, and even though she wore a dress, her figure was quite easy to make out nonetheless. She had a small waist and pearly white skin. Yemo moved his eyes onto the woman and immediately felt like he was familiar with this woman. Yemo soon realized who it was. It's actually her. No wonder she was found in the mountains. "Mingnan, take her veil off. Let us see her." People all around cheered. Gu Mingnan laughed and said, "Luo Luo didn't want to come, but today is our graduation celebration, so she still came to see everyone, but she'll be leaving immediately." "Luo Luo, take off your veil, dash," Gu Mingnan said, but he noticed how her eyes were glaring at a student in the room. Gu Mingnan also looked over. Yemo shook his head. He knew that this woman had recognized him, so he could only stand up. Just as Yemo wanted to say something, this woman ran up to him and grabbed his hand. She seemed to want to say something, yet not be able to. Although Yemo also wanted to ask why she was here, he knew that now wasn't the time. Gu Mingnan looked at the two dazedly and didn't know what to say. After a long while, he reacted and asked desperately, "Luo Luo, who is he? What are you doing?" "Sorry, Mingnan. I just saw my brother here, and I remembered some things. Thank you for taking care of me during this time, but I'll be going back with my brother." The girl spoke while taking off her veil. But no one was paying attention to her words anymore as they all stared at her face. It wasn't extremely beautiful, but it had a royal and heavenly vibe. Yemo touched his nose and didn't disagree. Although he was wondering why Luo Xian's big martial sister had reached a state where she lost all of her inner qi, he didn't deny knowing her. On Luo Xian's account, he would help her if he could. Besides, Yemo suspected that the Ni Luo Sutra was on her, so he still needed to ask her about it. "You're saying he's your brother?" Gu Mingnan didn't react for a long time. Luo Yin nodded. "Yes, I didn't remember before, but now that I saw him, I remembered." Gu Mingnan looked at Yi Mo with suspicion. Yi Mo didn't look like a brother who just found his lost sister, but he couldn't force her to stay with him. He had saved her, but hadn't even been able to touch her hand when she woke up. His frustration made him think, "I must get this woman, with my family's power in Luotsang, so what if she found her brother?" Yi Mo could already tell that Gu Mingnan wanted to take advantage of Luo Yin. Thinking about this, he sneered at Gu Mingnan's ignorance. Ancient martial artists like her were ruthless. They weren't innocent souls like Luo Xian. Although Gu Mingnan had saved Luo Yin, if he kept trying to take advantage of her, Luo Yin would kill him all the same. The reason she hadn't was because she was heavily injured. Yang Yi and everyone in the room froze. They didn't expect Yi Mo to be Luo's brother. This was too comical. Those with a meticulous heart could already see the problem, though. There was no excitement of the reunion of siblings to be seen. "Yi Mo, you're Luo Xian's boyfriend. Can't you look a little happier seeing me?" Luo Yin obviously wasn't happy with Yi Mo's attitude. Yi Mo was shocked. If Luo Yin was injured like this, how would Luo Xian be? Luo Xian was very innocent and kind-hearted. She had even given Yi Mo 2 of those important golden papers. She had even been willing to jump off with him. In his heart, Luo Xian was just as important as Yi Ling or Tang Beiwei. What happened to Luo Xian? Yi Mo grabbed Luo Yin's hand with a worried face. Luo Yin felt a sliver of envy. If only she could have someone who worried about her like that. "Luo Xian is fine, don't worry. Luo Xian doesn't know what happened to me. If nothing unexpected has happened, she should be in a safe place at the moment," Luo Yin said. But Yi Mo was still concerned, and he still had a lot to ask her about. But he knew this wasn't the place to talk. "Haha, Luo found her brother. This is worth celebrating. Let's drink to celebrate this happy occasion." Gu Mingnan said this before Luo Yin could leave. "Haha, Luo found her brother. This is worth celebrating. Let's drink to celebrate this happy occasion." Gu Mingnan said this before Luo Yin could leave. Although Luo Yin really wanted to leave, she could only follow after Yi Mo. Yi Mo didn't want to leave Yang Yi in an awkward spot, so he brought her over to introduce her to Yang Yi. Lu Shang might be timid, but he wasn't dumb. He could tell that Yi Mo wasn't Luo Yin's brother and that Gu Mingnan didn't like Yi Mo. If Gu Mingnan knew that Yang Yi had brought Yi Mo in, he wouldn't like Yang Yi either. Yi Mo could tell what Lu Shang was thinking, but he knew that Luo Yin wasn't to be blamed for this, and he wouldn't let Gu Mingnan get revenge on Yang Yi. Soon, the dishes came, and with Gu Mingnan's lead all the guys in the room drank to Yi Mo, wanting to get him drunk. Luo Yin knew that Yi Mo cultivated ancient martial arts, but she was worried it wouldn't be enough with this many people drinking to Yi Mo. She was worried and hinted at Yi Mo many times, but Yi Mo didn't seem to notice her. He drank to everyone. Gu Mingnan rejoiced at this. Eventually, even Yang Yi realized what was happening and pulled Yi Mo, wanting him to drink less. But Gu Mingnan saw this and only became even angrier at Yang Yi. But as they drank and drank, even Gu Mingnan felt something was wrong. A few of his classmates were already drunk, but Yi Mo was still clearly sober. He cursed at Yi Mo's alcohol tolerance. Just when Gu Mingnan wanted to think of another way, the door to their room was kicked open. Gu Mingnan cursed. "Which bastard are you? Do you want to die dash?" Gu Mingnan suddenly stopped. He looked fearfully at the woman behind the two men, who kicked open the door and called out, "Big sister!" "Ms. Ching-Ching, you made the right call. If Ms. Luo wasn't here, your Gu family would be over." A weird tone sounded. Before Gu Mingnan understood what was going on, he gained more courage upon hearing Luo. He immediately stood up and said, "Sister, what's this?" That cold-looking girl didn't seem to hear Gu Mingnan's words and said to the rich second generation next to her, "Young Master Wen, I've already brought you guys here. Now, this has nothing to do with the Gu family anymore, right?" "Hee, it's not up to you to decide that young Master Wen said creepily and then glanced lustfully at Gu Chingching's chest before looking into the room. His eyes soon settled on Luo Yin and immediately brightened up. He walked up. "Ms. Luo, I've been looking for you a lot." But then he seemed to have thought of something and quickly turned to the middle-aged man and said politely, "Second boss, this is Ms. Luo. Is she the one dash?" But young Master Wen stopped his words because the second boss he was so respectful of was staring at the room in shock and horror. He could even feel the man's body shiver. He didn't know who the second boss could be so afraid of. This second boss was so powerful that even his father had to be respectful of him. Yet now his expression was saying he had seen someone truly terrifying. "You want to take away Ms. Luo. Yi Mo suddenly glanced at young Master Wen and asked. Young Master Wen frowned and said, "What are you to dare speak to me like that?" Slap. As soon as he said that, the middle-aged man behind him slapped him. "Idiot, how dare you be disrespectful to Yi Qianbei? Do you want to die?" Young Master Wen was slapped away and spat out a few teeth. He laid on the ground, looking at the middle-aged man in horror. The middle-aged man then knelt before Yi Mo. "Yi Qianbei, Wanbei Yu Hongxing didn't mean to offend Qianbei." This made everyone freeze. No one knew the middle-aged man, but they all knew young Master Wen. He was the #1 young master of Luo Tsang. Just then, everyone had seen how respectful young Master Wen was to this middle-aged man, even calling him second boss. Yet this man was in turn begging Luo's brother for mercy. Many people started guessing who Yi Mo was. Some even thought he might be a young master from Beijing. Gu Mingnan had wanted to look for trouble with Yi Mo, but his heart was cold now. He knew better than anyone who young Master Wen was. His Gu family was nothing to them, yet the person he respected had to kneel down to Yi Mo. Gu Qingqing was also dazed. She didn't expect her brother to have such a powerful student at his party. He didn't say anything, yet could scare someone into begging for mercy. She thought of the Gu family situation and that perhaps this person could help them. "Brother Yi?" Yang Yi looked at Yi Mo in confusion. Yi Mo looked at the middle-aged man and didn't say anything. He didn't remember ever seeing this man. With his memory, he wouldn't forget anyone he had seen once before. The scene became eerily silent. Although Gu Mingnan loved Luo to the bone, he wasn't an idiot. He could tell his sister had been forced here, and the survival of their family seemed to be at stake. No matter how much he loved Luo, it had to be put aside in the wake of his family. "All right, friends, I'm sorry, but the gathering will end here today. I will treat everyone next time." Gu Mingnan immediately told the classmates to leave first. He looked at his sister and knew that he had done well. The classmates also understood that things weren't simple, and no one dared to stay. Yang Yi also got up, but Yi Mo pulled her and said, "Yang Yi, I need to talk to you later. You can stay." Seeing this, Lu Shang also stayed. Soon, all the irrelevant people left. Yi Qianbei. Wanbei managed to see Qianbei at the Broken Top Mountain. Yu Hongsheng felt that Yi Mo didn't know who he was and quickly explained. So that was it. No wonder this guy was this scared of him. When he exerted his dominance, even Xiang Mingwang didn't dare say much. Those who went to the Broken Top Mountain would of course know about the hidden sections. "Oh, and you want to bring Luo away?" Yi Mo's tone was very cold. Yu Hongsheng shivered thinking, I wanted to do that before, but with you here, I don't dare no matter what. He didn't dare lie either, so he could only say, Not me, it's Pingjiang sect dash. Okay, Yemo stopped his words, you may go. And this young master one is only wasting food by living on this earth. Yi Emo didn't care who was scheming for Luoyin. Him it was just a trivial matter. But he didn't like this young master one. Gu Qingcheng saw Yu Hongshen leave with his tail between his legs and wanted to say something. But Yi Emo said coldly to Gu Mingnan, You two can leave too. I have some business here. Gu Mingnan didn't dare say anything and quickly left with his sister. Gu Qingcheng was thinking that since Yi Emo was her brother's classmate, they would get a chance to get to know each other. That would be crucial to the development of their Gu family. After they all left, Yi Emo looked at Luo Yin and asked, Tell me about how Luo Xian is now. Luo Yin looked hesitantly at Lu Shan and Yang Yi. Yi Emo then also realized that it wasn't appropriate for them to know, so he asked, Yang Yi, do you know about Flowing Snake? Luo Yin looked hesitantly at Lu Shan and Yang Yi. Yi Emo then also realized that it wasn't appropriate for them to know, so he asked, Yang Yi, do you know about Flowing Snake? Of course I do. It's the headquarters of Luo Yu. I was planning to go there for the holidays after I start working, Yang Yi said. Yi Emo smiled. You could actually go there now, didn't you just graduate? If you want it, you could start working in Luo Yu. What? Work at Luo Yu? Brother Yi, do you think it's that easy to get in? I heard there was someone wanting to work there through the vice mayor and still got rejected. Yang Yi replied. Yi Mo said, Heir who is working at Luo Yu now. If you want to work there, just find him and you'll get accepted. If she said to Heir who that Yi Mo had told her to go Flowing Snake, he would definitely give her a good position. Really? Yang Yi still couldn't believe that such great fortune was descending upon her. But soon she realized that what Yi Mo had said was probably true. If even someone young master when feared was that respectful to Yi Mo, he probably had a big origin. If you want to go, you can go with your boyfriend. Just say you come in my behalf, Yi Mo continued. Yang Yi said without hesitation, Of course I want to go. I just graduated and I already have such a good job. Thank you, Brother Yi. Lu Shan didn't expect that he could also be able to go work at Flowing Snake. He even forgot to thank Yi Mo. Seeing the couple leave, Luo Yin said, Yi Mo, Luo Yu is related to you, right? Yi Mo looked at her. You're very smart. Yi Mo's tone didn't sound very enthusiastic. He suspected that Luo Yin had taken the Ni Luo Sutra. He couldn't like a woman with such calculations. Luo Yin didn't know why Yi Mo was cold to her, but she still said, The pill you gave Luo Xian is very precious. You must be an expert in pill making. So it's no surprise that Luo Yu is related to you. Yi Mo didn't seem to hear that and said, Tell me why you were in the mountain and how you were found. What's Luo Xian's situation now? You don't seem to like me. If I remember correctly, we've only met once, and we didn't even talk. Luo Yin really didn't understand why Yi Mo didn't like her. Yi Mo sneered. If I'm not wrong, weren't you interested in the Ni Luo Sutra? That day outside the Ying Hua Temple, Luo Fei screamed from outside. You went out to check, and soon after that you came back injured. You probably injured yourself, right? And in reality, you had taken the Ni Luo Sutra with you. You dash! Luo Yin looked at Yi Mo furious. She was so angry she couldn't speak. How could he think she was someone who would harm her sisters? Yi Mo didn't seem to care about her anger and just said calmly, This is what happened. Your second sister was hurt and you rushed out. At that time, you should have been on full alert. Also, you're at black level middle stage. Who could have hurt you in such a short time? Either that person knew your cultivation method very well, or it was someone countless times stronger than you. However, it's impossible that the person was much stronger than you. If there really had been an Earth-level martial artist there, you wouldn't have gotten out alive. He could have just killed you all. So other than yourself, who would know you that well. Furthermore, all three of you were there, but you lost the Enai Luo Sutra before your eyes. Other than an earth-level peak person or halfway great heaven one who can do that, it could have only been one of you. I know Luo Xian wouldn't take it, and Luo Fei didn't take it either. Luo Yin sneered. It's as though you saw it with your own eyes. You really do know Luo Xian's sister well, but how do you know Luo Fei hasn't Ta-dash then? Luo Yin suddenly stopped. She had a strange expression, as though she had realized something. After a moment, she seemed extremely disappointed and sad. She looked down with despair. Have you seen Luo Fei's sister? Yi Mo nodded, but didn't speak. Luo Yin continued. Yi Mo, if you see her again, tell her I'm sorry. I suspected of her taking the Enai Luo Sutra, but I now know that she didn't. I know this not because you saw her, but because of something else. After hearing this, Yi Mo got dubious. It seemed that Luo Yin really hadn't taken it, but how did she know who had taken it just by listening to his part of the story? Was there really an Earth-level peak master? But why hadn't that person harmed the three of them? Luo Yin seemed to be down, so after a while she looked up and said, Yi Mo, regardless of whether you believe me, I didn't take the Enai Luo Sutra. I know who took it, but I can't tell you. You see, that day when Luo Xian brought it, I flipped through it. I usually use a perfume that I make myself. It's unique. Then she calmed down and continued, when I was about to go back with her, I smelt that aroma. Because it's so unique, I told her to go back first, and I tried to chase it down along the way. I didn't find anyone, yet I still was knocked out on the mountain. You already know what happened next. Yi Mo sunk in thought. It actually wasn't Luo Yin who took the Enai Luo Sutra. He had guessed wrong. Then who took it? Whoever did it must be a lot stronger than the three of them, but chose not to kill them. This had to mean that the thief knew them personally. Thinking about this, Yi Mo suddenly asked, Luo Yin, did your sect only send out the three of you? Luo Yin sighed and looked at Yi Mo. You guessed it. We had 4 spots. A martial elder was protecting us. She is at halfway great heaven. So dash, Luo Yin didn't continue, but Yi Mo knew what she meant. That martial elder didn't kill all of them, since they were from the same sect. Luo Yin asked, Is Luo Fei well now? Yi Mo gave her a few normal recovery pills and said, She's doing very well. You guessed right, Luo Yu is my company. If you want to see her, you can go to Flowing Snake. She's there now. These pills can help you recover your wounds a little. You should be able to use inner chi for self-protection with this. Then Yi Mo gave a stack of money to Luo Yin. This will be your travel allowance. Luo Fei hit Luo Xian, and now she has no face to see Luo Xian. You 3 can take care of your own issues yourselves. I'm still busy tonight. I won't be going with you to Flowing Snake. Thank you, Luo Yin said, but she pushed the money away and just took the pills. I don't know where to go now either. I'm scared of facing Luo Fei. Perhaps she doesn't know how to face me either. If I go back to the sect, I will get exposed. Yi Mo could understand her feelings now. He thought for a moment and said, It's fine, you can find a place to stay for now. After I'm done with my business here, I'll take you back to Flowing Snake. If you don't want to go back to the hidden sects, you can stay at Flowing Snake. He booked a room at Yunshang Pearl and told Luo Yin to recover there. It was night time when Yi Mo left the place. The otherworldly entertainment had gotten more boisterous. Although it was a base for northern sand, no one could tell. Most of those who came were wealthy young generations. Yi Mo scanned his spirit sense in, but, strangely, he didn't find Liang Shirgua and the others. It was their base. Even if they had something to do, they wouldn't leave the place. Just when Yi Mo was getting confused, he sensed something with his spirit sense. It was Liang Shirgua, who was apparently by himself. He was heading towards otherworldly entertainment. Yi Mo rejoiced. To him, Liang Shirgua looked the easiest to control as he had no cultivation, while that Peter and Chinjue were quite powerful. Although Yemo could kill them, it would be hard to control them and get what he wanted from their mind. It was Liang Shirgua, who was apparently by himself. He was heading towards otherworldly entertainment. Yemo rejoiced. To him, Liang Shirgua looked the easiest to control as he had no cultivation, while that Peter and Chinjue were quite powerful. Although Yemo could kill them, it would be hard to control them and get what he wanted from their mind. Liang Shirgua seemed to have a lot on his mind and kept frowning. Yemo didn't touch him at first and waited until he went into a room by himself before finally jumping in after him. Yemo stayed invisible and knocked Liang Shirgua out before taking him out of Luo Tsang with him. In order to make Liang Shirgua think this was all a dream, Yemo didn't land anywhere. He covered his face with some black cloth before pointing at Liang Shirgua's forehead. Seeing Liang Shirgua's confused look, Yemo asked, "Introduce yourself and tell me why you came to Luo Tsang." Liang Shirgua answered without hesitation, "I'm Liang Shirgua, the person responsible for Northern Sand's Chinese base. I came here for the Extreme Energy Stone." What is an Extreme Energy Stone? It's the power source for super equipment. What is super equipment? Where do these energy stones come from? All equipment that can't be powered by energy from Earth is called super equipment, such as the space flower. The Extreme Energy Stone comes from the main designer of the space flower, Fengji. He is the source of 8 extreme energy stones. Yemo was wondering who this Fengji was. How could he design something that the whole world fought over? This person wasn't simple. Would he be another transmigrant from another civilization? Yemo continued asking, "Where is he now? What's the main purpose of the space flower?" Fengji fled Northern Sand half a year ago. The last time he appeared was in the Taklamakan Desert. Northern Sand is currently doing all they can to look for Fengji. If we can't bring him back, we are to terminate him on the spot. The space flower is a super war machine that combines marine with aerial warfare. It could easily annihilate an entire country or defend a region. I don't know the specifics of its capabilities, though, Liang Shirgua replied. Why did he run away? When Northern Sand found Fengji, they signed a contract with him. It was for him to design the space flower, and afterwards they would let him go. Fengji finished the design, but Northern Sand regretted their promise and kept him to design other things. Fengji continued to design many things, but when he ran, he took all his blueprints with him, including the space flower blueprint. So that was it. Yemo thought, had that picture with Luoing in it also been taken near that desert? If it was, why did Luoing go there? But no matter what, finding out that she might have been there, Yemo was so excited that he wanted to fly there immediately to see if she was still there. How many bases does Northern Sand have? Where is your base? Yemo asked. Northern Sand has 6 bases. I only know of the Asian base, which is in Vietnam's Bai Wai Creek. I don't know anything else. Yemo estimated that he wouldn't be able to get much more out of him, so he knocked him out and brought him back to his room. Liang Shirgua woke up not too long after Yemo left and got up immediately. What had happened before was very clear in his mind. It was as though he had truly been in midair and told a black-clothed man everything he knew. Liang Shirgua was shook. If even one of Northern Sand's secrets were spilled, it would be his death. Yet he had spilled so much, and it was all extremely important information. Wait, he probably didn't, right? It had to have been a dream. How could he possibly have been floating in midair? Liang Shirgua let out a breath of relief, but that dream had been way too real. He had even felt the wind brush past him. Liang Shirgua patted his head and washed his face with cold water, trying to forget that nightmare. Even if it was just a dream, if the higher-ups of Northern Sand knew about it, he would be dead for sure. Although Yemo wanted to find Luoing immediately, he didn't go just yet. Firstly, because a few months had already passed since Luoing had last been there, so a few days later or earlier wouldn't make much of a difference. And secondly, because he still wanted to earn that 10 billion US dollars from Liang Shurgua. When Yemo came back to Yunshang Pearl, Luo Yin was already soundly asleep. Yemo didn't disturb her and just cultivated on the deck. The second morning, when Yemo got up, Luo Yin had already finished cleaning herself and was waiting for Yemo. Yemo scanned her with his spirit sense and knew that she had half recovered already and would be able to protect herself. "I want to go to Flowing Snake to see Luo Fei," Luo Yin uttered with some hesitation. After one night of thinking, she knew that it wouldn't be appropriate to keep following Yemo like this, and Yemo still seemed to be wary of her anyway. Although she had only been with Yemo for a short while, Luo Yin understood why Luo Xian trusted him this much, and why she had pleaded for her to not say bad things about Yemo. Yemo was indeed a good person. Luo Yin thought that Luo Xian would have just randomly lost her virginity to Yemo, but now it seemed that she had been thinking too much. He wasn't the same type of person as Qi Yilin. With Luo Yin's beauty and her being injured, Yemo still didn't look at her with any ulterior motives. Just as Yemo was unsure about how to keep Luo Yin busy, she chose to go to Flowing Snake. That was perfect for Yemo. Yemo called Ning Qingxue to tell Luo Fei to go to the Guilin airport to pick up Luo Yin. At the same time, Ning Qingxue told him that Zhang Jingxia had arrived at Flowing Snake and was waiting for him. Hearing this, Yemo immediately thought of the spirit well. He probably came for that. If Zhang Jingxia knew where the spirit well was, Yemo would honestly just want to kick Feng Wu out of the game. After sending Luo Yin away, Yemo decided to earn the 10 billion first, and then go back. In the secret room over at Otherworldly Entertainment, Liang Shurgua, Peter, and Qinjue were talking about something. Liang Shurgua's face didn't look too good. He was still suspicious of the dream he had had last night. It was just too real. A black-clothed man knocked on the door and said, "CEO Liang, someone called Yemo is here to see you." Peter and Qinjue were dazed. Yemo had been here only yesterday. Why did he come again today? "Invite him in," Liang Shurgua said calmly. "Director Liang, do you know why he is here?" Qinjue saw that Liang Shurgua seemed very confident and asked. Liang Shurgua smiled. "If I'm not wrong, it should be about the crystal." "How do you know?" Peter asked. "He seemed hesitant when I mentioned the crystal being worth 10 billion. So from that, I guessed that he might actually have it on him." Liang Shurgua said contemptuously. "Mr. Liang, you're really amazing." Peter applauded. Qinjue couldn't help but feel amazed at Liang Shurgua's meticulousness. He then said, 10 billion is no small amount even for us. Are we really going to give it to him? If we can confirm it's on him, we might have other ways of getting it. Liang Shurgua shook his head. "You are underestimating Yemo. As did I yesterday, but I won't anymore. He will still need to prove he has the power to take my 10 billion, though. If he doesn't, then tough luck." Qinjue sighed. No wonder Liang Shurgua was still above him even when he didn't have any powers. "Mr. Yemo, I didn't expect us to meet again this soon. Please take a seat." As soon as Yemo arrived, Liang Shurgua got up with a smile. "Mr. Yemo, I didn't expect us to meet again this soon. Please take a seat." As soon as Yemo arrived, Liang Shurgua got up with a smile. Yemo sat down and didn't seem to notice the irony on Qinjue's face. "Mr. Liang, I'm really sorry about yesterday. I have found that crystal indeed, but just like you said, that thing is of no use to me. If you can really pay 10 billion for it, I don't mind giving this crystal to you." Liang Shurgua got up excitedly and said, "Mr. Yi is really an honest man. I knew you were a good person indeed. I thought you would need some time before you can find it, but you found it this quickly. I've prepared the 10 billion already. It's in the card." Liang Shirgua immediately took out a gold card which had many diamonds embedded onto it. It must have cost a few million just to make this card. Yi Mo shook his head. This northern sand was really earning an uncountable amount of money. They were so extravagant. Yi Mo scanned the card and soon knew what was going on. This card was a bomb, a small bomb. So that was it. Yi Mo sneered. He knew that Liang Shirgua had picked up on his intentional look of hesitance and prepared this card for him. The moment he gave his extreme energy stone would be the moment he died. Although it was just a credit card bomb, Yi Mo wouldn't underestimate it. Who knew how powerful it was? Yi Mo took the card and seemed embarrassed. Mr. Liang, I haven't even given you the crystal yet. To be taking your card already, this is a little embarrassing. Liang Shirgua sneered in his heart. You sure took the card without hesitation. How come I don't see your embarrassment at all? But of course he wouldn't say that. He laughed and said, If I didn't trust Mr. Yi, I wouldn't be taking out the card. There's 10 billion in the card. Please check on the computer. Okay, in that case, sure. Yi Mo went to the computer and tried to log into the card. There was indeed 10 billion. Yi Mo smiled, seemingly not seeing Liang Shirgua's contemptuous look, and asked, Mr. Liang, what is the transaction password for this card? Liang Shirgua's face changed. He didn't expect Yi Mo to want to transfer immediately, but his face soon recovered. He said, casually, You can keep this card, Mr. Yi. We might have future business interactions, at which point we'll send the money into this card too. Yi Mo said with a troubled look. That's not really suitable, he changed his words. Even if I take this card, I'll still need the transfer password. Liang Shirgua cursed and could only tell Yi Mo the password. Yi Mo transferred the 10 billion to his own account immediately. Then Yi Mo gave the empty card to Liang Shirgua. Mr. Liang, I've transferred the money, but I don't dare take this card, it's too precious. Liang Shirgua cursed. This person was really shameless. He took the 10 billion US dollars, but was acting embarrassed about taking a card. He quickly pushed it back, though, and said, Mr. Yi, this is what you deserve. We are really grateful to you for getting the crystal. One card means nothing. Perhaps we can work together in the future. Yi Mo knew that Liang Shirgua wouldn't rest easy if he didn't take the card, so he took it. Seeing this, Liang Shirgua rejoiced. After you tell me where that crystal is and you leave this place, you can go die. After you die, we can still get the 10 billion back from your company. Then Yi Mo took out a small bag and gave it to Liang Shirgua. Mr. Liang, see if this is your crystal. Liang Shirgua almost spat blood. He didn't expect the crystal to be in Yi Mo's pocket. He opened it as quick as he could, and what was inside was the extreme energy stone he had lost indeed. Not only Liang Shirgua's face was bad, but even Peter's and Qin Jue's as well. This Yi Mo was slapping their face. This guy had used their precious property to earn 10 billion and had simply been keeping it in his pockets. The despicable thing was that he had even pretended to not know anything yesterday. Yi Mo didn't care about this. He smiled and said, Mr. Liang, if that's the crystal, then I'll be going. If you have any more business, be sure to come find me. I love doing business, haha. Okay, of course, of course. This crystal we have all thanks to you, Mr. Yi. Thank you. Liang Shirgua was so angry he was about to puke blood, but he still kept thanking Yi Mo. He had decided that as soon as Yi Mo stepped out of otherworldly entertainment, he would detonate the bomb. He wouldn't care how many other people died. When Yi Mo walked out of the room, he used a trick and put the card into a corner of the door without them noticing. If he didn't fear that the bomb would be too powerful and destroy the crystal, he would have left it in Liang Shirgua's pockets. Also, he didn't want Liang Shirgua to die just yet. If he did, then even if Yi Mo would be getting 10 billion out of it, he would be fully starting war with Northern Sand. He didn't have the power for that right now, so he could only annoy Liang Shirgua and company a bit. After the crystal was shipped away, Yi Mo would be following it. He was planning on taking the other ones too. Yi Emo got to the bar as quickly as he could and didn't walk out. He asked for a drink. Liang Shurgwa stared at the camera with a deathly gaze and was furious, but he couldn't do anything. If he blew it now, it might blow Yi Emo up, but otherworldly entertainment would also be done for. Although the place was worth nothing compared to Yi Emo, he was still here too, and he wouldn't lose anything if he waited for a minute. So why not wait a bit? Yi Emo sneered. He didn't care about drinking, but was leaving a message for Liang Shurgwa. He wrote a few lines on a piece of paper and put it in an envelope for a waiter. You have to give this letter to Mr. Liang. You don't need to give it to him now, though. He's in a meeting. After he finishes work, you can give it to him. Then, Yi Emo gave a few $100s to the waiter before leaving. He has left. Chen Jue saw Yi Emo leave and immediately got excited. He will soon be able to see how this cocky guy dies. Liang Shurgwa took out a remote and sneered, Mr. Chen, I'll leave you and Peter to deal with Flowing Snake. Yi Emo being dead, those in Flowing Snake won't be able to escape. Luo Yu is a good money-making machine. We can keep it for ourselves. Liang Shurgwa pressed down on the button. Rumble, there was a huge explosion as bricks and dust fell everywhere, making Liang Shurgwa and the other two dumbfounded. The explosion was huge, sure, but something didn't seem right. It should be on the streets, but why then was he feeling such a huge shock and was his wall falling? A metal rod pierced Liang Shurgwa's shoulder, making him cry out in pain. Not good, it's our building that exploded. Chen Jue reacted first. He grabbed Liang Shurgwa and jumped out of the window. How could that be? The explosion should be in the street. Why is it here? Liang Shurgwa murmured. There was another rumble. A waiter charged into the bar and saw Liang Shurgwa on Chen Jue's back. He quickly passed the envelope. CO Liang, a customer called Yi Emo left this for you. Liang Shurgwa opened the letter, but the content made him spit out blood. He cursed, shameless. I've seen shameless people before, but never someone as shameless as this. Liang Shurgwa threw the letter on the ground, and Chen Jue picked it up. The letter could be said to be very polite. Liang Shurgwa threw the letter on the ground, and Chen Jue picked it up. The letter could be said to be very polite. Mr. Liang, ever since I found out that the crystal was your organization's, I wasn't able to sleep for the whole night. Even if there hadn't been a reward, I would have wanted to give the crystal back. Now that I already took your money, that's already embarrassing enough. How can I take such a precious card too? You're making me blush. Although I know Mr. Liang genuinely wants me to have the card, but I thought about it and decided that I truly can't take it. I left the card outside the door. Please check it. I am an honest man, so I shall not take something that does not belong to me. Mr. Liang also knows that I'm not the sort of person to leech on small benefits, right? If I took Mr. Liang's card, it would really go against who I am. I'm afraid Mr. Liang would still wish to give it to me. So that's why I left this letter downstairs. You must not be too kind, Mr. Liang. Chen Jue looked at Liang Shurgwa in confusion. Director Liang, you're saying Yi Emo is shameless because he knew that the card was a bomb and left it there? Liang Shurgwa calmed down and frowned. Take me to the hospital first. After they got in the car, Liang Shurgwa continued, he's not a god. He probably didn't know there was something wrong with the card. I'm saying that he's shameless because he took the 10 billion without a word. Yet now he's saying that it'd be ruining his good name to take this card. Even saying that he had been planning to give the crystal back to us for free. Do you believe that SH*T? Just look at how fast he transferred the money away. This person is too shameless. Liang Shurgwa couldn't help himself from cursing. Chen Jue frowned and said, Director Liang, I feel this whole thing is strange. If Yi Emo really didn't know that this was a bomb, why would he give the card with the letter to the waiter? I also think EMO is a very shameless person. So for someone like him, why wouldn't he take a card that's worth a few million? Liang Shurgwa calmed down. In his fury, he had ignored such an obvious problem. Yeah, why did Yemo do that? But if Yemo knew that was a bomb, why not just put it closer to him? Liang Shurgwa suddenly felt that he couldn't see through the Yemo anymore. Was this an accident? Liang Shurgwa didn't believe it was. Mr. Chun and Peter, we shouldn't go to the hospital now, but to the airport instead. The crystal is on us. We need to send it away immediately. It's not safe with us. I only have some minor injuries, so some slight treatment will be fine. Liang Shurgwa decisively made the car drive straight to the airport. Yemo was following behind, but he wasn't planning on tracking those three. He was following the crystal, which he had marked with his spirit sense. He might have traded it away. He wasn't really going to give it to Northern Sand. To Yemo, following the three was honestly a relaxing endeavor. They boarded a plane to Hong Kong, already half an hour later. From this, one could see their organization's capability. The plane departed quickly, and Yemo followed on his flying sword, complaining how slow the plane was. 2 hours later, the plane landed in Hong Kong International Airport. As soon as the three got off, there was a car ready to pick them up. Yemo followed them to a rural gas station before finally stopping. Coming there, Yemo realized that this had to be a Northern Sand meeting area. The office room upstairs looked very simple, but Yemo could easily tell the people working there weren't that simple. 2 of them were yellow level, and most importantly, there was a lavish room underground with the entrance to it being very hidden. Yemo worried that Chen Jue would be able to see through his invisibility. Even though he was at the Qi gathering middle stage, Chen Jue was an Earth Peak level master. If he noticed his Qi waves, it wouldn't be hard to discover him despite his invisibility. At the moment, Chen Jue and Peter were standing at the door, and it would be impossible to go inside without passing the 2 of them. Just when Yemo was feeling troubled, Chen Jue's phone rang. He turned around and carefully whispered something. Yemo knew this was a chance. Chen Jue was distracted and Peter was a mutant, so even if he was stronger than Chen Jue, he wouldn't be able to sense his Qi waves. Yemo managed to enter the underground room without being caught. For fully armored, black-clothed men stood there, all near the yellow level. Yemo was worried that there would be Earth levels here, but there wasn't even a yellow level. It was pretty reasonable, though. After all, it wasn't easy to cultivate ancient martial arts. It would seem that those 4 black levels he killed last time must have had quite some status in Northern Sand. No wonder Liang Shurgwa had decided not to let him go. "Director Liang, you're injured," a busted beautiful woman asked. She saw the bandages on Liang Shurgwa's shoulder and actually reproached him. Liang Shurgwa waved his hand. "Sisterling, now isn't the time to talk about that. I've brought the thing here, and I'll be giving it to you. It's torture to have it on me. Have a look." Then, Liang Shurgwa showed the crystal to the woman. The woman didn't ask any further questions. She examined the crystal carefully and nodded. "It's right, this is real. Thank you, Director Liang. Elder Chu will be arriving shortly. I will ship it away with Elder Chu tonight. Please sign here." Liang Shurgwa signed and rested easy. "Director Liang, you seem to have encountered some trouble? Did you get this from Yemo?" she asked strangely. She had never seen Liang Shurgwa with such a face before. Liang Shurgwa nodded. "Yes, we lost a lot of men this time, which I have already reported. I'm waiting for notice on how to deal with that Yemo." Then 2 more people came inside. It was an old man in his 60s and a man in his 30s. Elder Chu, Liang Shurgwa, and the young woman greeted the old man as he came inside. Elder Chu nodded and said, "Xiao Liang has done very well this time. He finally got the crystal. Although 10 billion is important to us, it's nothing compared to the crystal. But while knowing that Yemo could kill 27 gun masters and 4 black-level fighters in an instant, and still acting so carelessly. Making other mistakes, I can't deal with it. It must be reported. The woman looked at the old man in surprise. Director, Liang made other mistakes? The old man nodded and said, after realizing that his first method was wrong, it was a good decision to openly discuss with Yi Mo about the crystal, but he didn't even notice that Yi Mo broke the 3 hidden cameras. Although he found out about it later on, he didn't take it seriously and wanted to use some low means to get rid of Yi Mo, his second mistake. Then Elder Chu glanced coldly at Liang Shirgua and said, Xiao Liang, do you think someone who can sense those hidden cameras in such a short time wouldn't be able to tell there's something up with the card? Looks like you're declining now. These last 2 years have been too successful for you. If you didn't get the crystal, or if Yi Mo had realized the use of the crystal, you would have been dead 100 times over. Northern Sand only has 5 Earth-level tertiary stage masters, and we gave you one of them and also sent Peter. Yet you went and lost 4 black-level and 23 elite members. Liang Shirgua looked down and sweated, but didn't dare say a word. Elder Chu seemed to feel like he had said too much and eased his tone. But you at least got the crystal back, so you should be able to keep your life. As for Yi Mo, we should stop thinking about attacking him for now. At the moment, we probably don't have anyone who is a match for him in the organization. Yi Mo is that strong? No one in the organization is a match for him. The young woman blurted out with shock. The old man nodded seriously. Although we can't be certain that should be the case. We can only see whether perhaps Mu Jin might be a match for him. If even he can't beat him, our only other option would be to gang up on Yi Mo. Gang up on him? Will we attack him now, or should we attack his base first? That young woman asked. Gang up on him? Will we attack him now, or should we attack his base first? That young woman asked. Elder Chu shook his head. Now is not the time to take him out. Yi Mo gave us the crystal, meaning that he doesn't know its worth and that he doesn't want to fight us now either. It's not the time to attack his base either. We've investigated Yi Mo very clearly, and he's a mad dog. According to our latest news, He Lu sect and Jian Song were almost annihilated due to him. The number 1 hidden sect, the Gourd Cave, also seems to have become silent. We suspect that too is related to Yi Mo. Although he most likely can't annihilate them just like that, they are probably scared of his crazy retribution. So, now is not the time to completely start war with him. We don't have the time and effort to waste on him. In due time, there will be someone to annihilate him. Yi Mo on the side really wanted to burn this Elder Chu, but he knew he couldn't touch Northern Sand yet. Northern Sand felt threatened by him a lot, but so did he by them. He didn't have only himself to think about. If he pissed off Northern Sand, how would he protect the people around him? Liang Shirgua, Chen Jue, and Peter will stay here now and come back to HQ with me later on. You will return immediately and keep track of Yi Mo and report back. Without any further notice, you must not do something like abducting his family again. The old man looked at Liang Shirgua with a serious face. Yes, Elder Chu. Liang Shirgua didn't dare object. Then Elder Chu looked at the woman and said, Let me check the stone. If it's the right one, package it and send it away with the other one. Yes, Elder Chu. The woman put the crystal on the table and also took out a gold case. Yi Mo noticed that this gold case was exactly the same as the one he had found. It seemed that he would be earning 2 crystals today. Elder Chu checked the crystal and nodded. He opened the case and put the crystal together with the other one before covering it with a yellow cloth. At this time, Yi Mo used 2 ordinary stones to swap out the crystals with extremely fast speed. He was so fast that no one saw it with him being in invisibility mode. Yi Mo rejoiced that Chen Jue didn't come in. If he were here, he might have noticed his actions. After taking the things, Yemo left immediately. As soon as he got to the entrance, he heard a yell in the underground room. Was it discovered this quickly? Yemo thought and scanned his spirit sense down. Indeed, the gold case was opened again and everyone's face was pale. Chun Jue rushed past Yemo and came into the underground room as soon as he could. Good opportunity. Yemo dashed out of the gas station and got on top of his flying sword, quickly heading to Luotsang. In order for Liang Shirgua to not suspect him, he had to be there. What is it, Elder Chu? Chun Jue asked. The crystal has been switched just now. Sister Ling's face was also pale. It was bright as day in there, and the gold case had remained on the table all the time. It could be said that everyone's eyes were on the case, yet from one moment to the next, the crystals turned into two useless stones. From the opening to the closing of the case, only Elder Chu, only he had touched the case. But it's not like Elder Chu would have switched it. He would be taking it away anyway. And even if he was to do it, he wouldn't do it here. And even if he did, he wouldn't open the case a second time to check on it. Yet the eerie reality was that the two crystals had been taken from right under their eyes. No one could shoulder this responsibility, not even Elder Chu. Immediately locked down the underground room. Do not allow anyone to go in or out. Although Elder Chu's face was pale, he was still the first to react. The person who took it must still be in this underground room. As long as the entrance was sealed, they could find out for sure. Although Chun Jue didn't quite understand what was going on, he understood from Sister Ling that the crystals seemed to have been changed. Peter was standing at the door and made sure that no one came in. No one seemed to have gone out either. Chun Jue stopped there. When he came in, he seemed to have felt a subtle chi wave next to him, but he was moving so fast then that he wasn't sure now. I'll stay at the door over here. Elder Chu, please check inside. Chun Jue thought about that encounter and knew that might have been the thief brushing past him. But he wouldn't say that. If he did, he would be greatly responsible. He wouldn't be that dumb. So he didn't even enter the passage to the underground room and just stood at the door. People surrounded the place and investigated all over. Yet half an hour later, there was still nothing found. Elder Chu suddenly thought of something. He looked at Liang Shirgua and said, Liang Shirgua, are you sure no one followed you from Luotsang to Hong Kong? Liang Shirgua was shook. They had taken an impromptu plane. How could they be followed? He knew that Elder Chu was looking for a scapegoat, so he quickly said, Definitely not with Mr. Chen and Peter there. There wouldn't be anyone capable of following us. And coming to Hong Kong was an impromptu decision. I was in fact going to stay in the hospitable at first, but because I was afraid something would happen, I changed the plan. Liang Shirgua had managed to casually drag Chun Jue and Peter into it. Chun Jue knew what Liang Shirgua was intending, but still had to help him. Yes, Elder Chu, we were certain that no one was following us. The plane was also already full beforehand, and we used special means to get our 3 spots. No one could have known that we were coming to Hong Kong, and even if anyone did, they wouldn't be able to board the same plane as us. Despite all that, Chun Jue was afraid that they really might have been followed, but he couldn't imagine what means their tracker could have used. He thought of the chi wave he noticed before, but didn't dare say anything about it. Elder Chu sneered. He knew that if he didn't find the crystal, he would be held responsible. If there was some chance, he would try to blame it on Liang Shirgua, but the crystal had disappeared after he touched it. Liang Shirgua, if that person followed you, would you know? Check Luotsang right now. See if Yemo is there. If not, then it was definitely him. I said it would be suicide to underestimate him. Are you still underestimating him even now? Elder Chu's voice went cold. Liang Shirgua's heart went cold too. He knew that this old thing was trying to use him as a scapegoat. Yemo had come to Luotsang because he had called him there. This long after the meeting, Why would he still be there? Liang Shurgua was sure that if he called his men in Luotsang and they didn't find EMO within 10 minutes, he would be turned into the scapegoat for sure. But if he didn't call, he would become the scapegoat just the same. When Liang Shurgua called, the old man cursed and wanted to kill Liang Shurgua immediately. If it weren't for Liang Shurgua wanting to bring the crystal back there right then, he wouldn't even have been involved in this mess. Sister Ling's face was pale too, but to her, as long as she was fine, she would be thanking God. Chun Jue also looked at Liang Shurgua with sympathy. Liang Shurgua's face was pale as he called. Everyone looked at Liang Shurgua's phone anxiously. To the people in the room, it was better to have a scapegoat than for all of them to die. Did you find EMO? Liang Shurgua sensed his voice being shaky. He was so scared of them saying they didn't find him. Did you find EMO? Liang Shurgua sensed his voice being shaky. He was so scared of them saying they didn't find him. The waiter sounded hesitant. So Liang, we didn't find EMO's whereabouts. He did just call, though. He said dash. What did he say? Tell me quick. Everyone was staring at Liang Shurgua, and he was also very worried himself, but his heart skipped a beat out of happiness already. It was a good sign that Yemo had called. That meant that he might still be in Luotsang. Yemo has apparently seen that levels 3 and above of otherworldly entertainment have collapsed, and asked if you were still there and what was going on. The waiter relayed. And anything else? Liang Shurgua was really worried. The waiter thought, I wanted to tell you everything in one go, but you keep stopping me. But he didn't dare voice his thoughts. He thus continued, Yemo said that you really don't know how to manage a business. A perfectly good place was turned into scrap. Instead of giving him a diamond card, you might as well have given him the business. He would run it better. He even jokingly left a number, saying that if you're interested, you can give him the business, and he would come negotiate with you immediately. He said that he would be leaving Luotsang at night and wouldn't have time to come back for at least a week. Hence, if you need to contact him, you must do it before tonight. Give the business to him, call him immediately, and tell him that if he can get to otherworldly entertainment right now, it's his. Quick, call him now. Tell him to go there immediately, and as soon as he gets there, do a video call. Liang Shurgua said desperately. Everyone in the room had heard the phone call, but he still declared, Yemo is still in Luotsang, and he'll be coming to otherworldly entertainment in a few minutes. Although Liang Shurgua was giving a business to Yemo, no one laughed at him. Elder Chu's face was very bleak. He didn't expect Liang Shurgua to really be able to find Yemo in just a few minutes. This was too coincidental. The room sunk into silence. A few minutes later, Liang Shurgua's phone sounded indeed. He broadcasted the call on the projector, and the background was indeed clearly otherworldly entertainment. Yemo smiled very happily. Boss Liang, I heard your waiter say that you want to give otherworldly entertainment to me. At first I thought, how could I possibly accept that? But since you requested it multiple times, won't I seem too fake if I don't take it? So I'll take it. As for the takeover process, I have someone for that here. You just need to talk to him about it. But really, Boss Liang, you're truly kind. When you come back to Luotsang, I will treat you to dinner. As soon as Yemo finished, the manager of the place asked, CO Liang, should we process it straight away? Yes, do it now. Although Liang Shurgua had saved his life, he still didn't feel good about the whole matter and hung up the phone. This place was his private property, and he had been planning on developing it well, yet now it became someone else's. But at least this place had saved his life. Now, that old man couldn't blame it on him. Elder Chu's face was getting paler and paler. Everyone in the room had been searched, including Sister Ling. Although this room was quite grandiose, it wasn't that big. And even with the detector here, the crystals were still not found. The old man knew he needed a scapegoat, or he would be dead for sure. No matter how high his status was, nothing but death awaited him if he lost 2 crystals in a row. He looked at Sister Ling. Her face was already pale, and now that Elder Chu looked over, her heart went cold. She knew she was done for. Lu Lin, I might not know how you took the energy stones. This isn't something I can decide on now anyway. Chen Jue, take Lu Lin away immediately and head to the headquarters with me. He knew there was no point in staying here any longer. If the stone was still here, the detector would have detected it. Since it didn't, that meant that the stone had been taken away. Sister Ling was shaking, but she couldn't even say a word. She knew anything she said would be useless. Other than Liang Shirgua, she had been the closest to the stone. She finally understood why Wendong and Feng Tian would risk death to run away from Northern Sand. When Wendong left, she didn't leave for the space flower blueprint. Now, she had seen through what sort of a place Northern Sand was. Funny that she only understood now. The old man wasn't happy at all. He knew that even if Lu Ling was somehow confirmed as the culprit, that would at most enable him to barely escape death. Yi Emo was very happy. He had only gone there to provide himself with an alibi, but Liang Shirgua actually gave the entire business to him. Although he didn't know why Liang Shirgua was being so generous, it would be a waste not to take it. Before Liang Shirgua could get back, he would hurry the manager to do the transfer. After that, Yi Emo stopped the operations of the business while he went back to Flowing Snake. If Northern Sand knew that he had taken both 2 crystals and the money, they would go crazy. So the first thing he did when he got back to Flowing Snake was to make Shui Yuehua speed up the construction of Flowing Snake, and the second was to see Zhang Jingxia. Su Yuehua got $10 billion out of nowhere and finally felt relaxed. With this money, it would go much faster to construct Flowing Snake. Although he knew that Yi Emo was fine, Zhang Jingxia still felt greatly relieved upon seeing Yi Emo. Brother Zhang, it seems you worry for me a lot, Yi Emo joked. Zhang Jingxia nodded. Yes, after that day, I felt something wasn't right. And as expected, Feng Wu kept stalling intentionally and headed to the gourd cave only the second day. Yi Emo immediately understood that Feng Wu had indeed known that Xiang Mingwang was setting him up. Seeing Yi Emo nod, Zhang Jingxia immediately asked, Brother Yi, after I realized this, Gourd Cave had already sealed their mountain. What's going on? How could Xiang Mingwang seal the sect before going to the spirit well? Did he not attack you? Yi Emo didn't hide anything and said, Xiang Mingwang indeed tried to kill me, so I didn't hold back. The Gourd Cave has been annihilated now, so there won't be any Gourd Cave anymore. What? Zhang Jingxia thought he had misheard. He got up abruptly and looked at Yi Emo in shock. You annihilated the Gourd Cave? By yourself? Gourd Cave was the strongest hidden sect. No matter how strong Yi Emo was, he couldn't be that strong, right? Before Yi Emo could reply, he continued, Doesn't the Gourd Cave have a sect leader that's said to be half-step Great Heaven? Did he not come out? Yi Emo remembered the battle and still felt some post-traumatic fear. He nodded. Yes, I almost died to run Pingchuan's hands. That old thing was too strong. If it wasn't for a lucky coincidence, I wouldn't have been able to come out. He's the strongest person I've met. Even Wu Dao probably wasn't a match for him. Zhang Jingxia breathed a sigh of relief. Brother Yi, that was too risky. I didn't expect it at the time, but that Xiang Mingwang was really evil. You shouldn't spread the news, though. I'm afraid that Feng Wu might use this to act up. Jiao Ming Academy still has their head principal. It's said that he's on the same level as Run Pingchuan. You need to be careful of them. They are said to be stronger than the Gourd Cave, but just supposedly don't like stealing the show. Yi Emo agreed to Zhang Jingxia's words. By the way, Brother Zhang, did you find the spirit well? To Yi Mo, that was the most important matter. Zhang Jingxia nodded and said, I went there with Feng Wu, but there was a problem. Hearing this, Yi Mo asked worriedly, what happened? The Spirit Well's entrance is in the back valley of the gourd cave, but when we got there, we saw the valley had collapsed on a large scale, and we quickly left. When we went there again, that part had been covered. Even if the Spirit Well is still there, it should be crushed, Zhang Jingxia said with regret. The Spirit Well's entrance is in the back valley of the gourd cave, but when we got there, we saw the valley had collapsed on a large scale, and we quickly left. When we went there again, that part had been covered. Even if the Spirit Well is still there, it should be crushed, Zhang Jingxia said with regret. Yi Mo thought that the collapse must be related to Ren Pingchuan. Thinking about this, he asked, Can't you dig it open? Zhang Jingxia looked at Yi Mo strangely. The entire valley collapsed. Even if you dig it open, the Spirit Well should have been crushed. Besides, it's not easy to dig out an entire valley. That valley is on the edge of a cliff, so machines can't even get in. It needs to be dug out by hand. Yi Mo nodded and said, Then could you draw me the position of that valley? If I have the chance, I'd like to go see. Zhang Jingxia did so without hesitation. Brother Yi, I'm happy that you're fine. I'll be going back now. I'll leave you with a way to contact me. So if you need help, just come find me, Zhang Jingxia said before he left. After that, Yi Mo found Su Ping. Su Ping seemed very busy and worried. As an ancient martial artist, he of course knew too well who Yi Mo had offended. Second brother, rest assured, give me another year or two, and I'll have greatly increased my own power, Yi Mo said as he noticed Su Ping's worry. But I heard sect leader Zhang say that you offended the gourd cave. They are a bunch of cruel people, Su Ping said worriedly. Second brother, don't worry. I've recently got news of Luo Ying's whereabouts, so I'll be going out to look for her. I came to see you because I want you to build an army in Flowing Snake. As for the gourd cave, they won't be annoying us for sure. I've already annihilated them. The reason why Yi Mo entrusted the safety of Flowing Snake to Su Ping was firstly because he was at the Earth-level primary stage, and secondly because Su Ping and him are brothers. What? You annihilated the gourd cave? Su Ping's reaction was the same as Zhang Jingxia's. He almost couldn't believe Yi Mo's words. Yi Mo didn't explain any further. Su Ping remembered Yi Mo's first words and asked with even more shock, You want Flowing Snake to have its own army? Yi Mo nodded. Yes, without our own army, Flowing Snake can't protect itself. I only want to build a self-defense army over here. I haven't decided where to build the real army yet. I'm going to check out a place today. If I make up my mind, I'll tell you. In Yi Mo's opinion, the real place to build an army should be Saina. In fact, he wanted to see if he could build a city there. If it was a place suitable for living, he wouldn't mind moving all of Flowing Snake's facilities there. In the depth of his heart, Yi Mo didn't want to build his city right next to China. Despite his relatives coming from China, he had his worries about living so close to it. He wanted to build a city so that the people he cared about could live well without corruption. If the place got prosperous, all sorts of problems would appear and the big countries would get jealous. Yi Mo didn't want any conflicts with China. After all, Elder Han was on good terms with him. If it was any other place and someone dared scheme for his place, he would destroy the country if he had to. But other than Flowing Snake, he had no better place to go. Earth had been developing for many, many years, and all the good land had been taken. I don't have a problem with that. Leave things here to me. As long as the people from the hidden sects don't come, I believe I can handle anything, Su Ping said seriously. He knew his third brother was no ordinary person, so even if he would try to build a country, he would help him without hesitation. Yi Emo left Flowing Snake and went to Sai Na before going to the Taklamakan Desert first. He really wanted to know how Lone Wolf's Nanqing was doing. Had he grasped the power tightly in his hands? Yi Emo came by himself this time. When Yi Emo came the first time, the outskirts of Sai Na had formed some simple commercial districts, and many of the families of the soldiers lived quite well there. But now that Yi Emo came again, he almost couldn't believe it to be the same place he came to before. Everything was tattered and in ruins. Yi Emo frowned. What was Lone Wolf doing? It had been this long, yet he couldn't even control Nanqing. Who goes there? Stop! Yi Emo noticed the 2 guards at the broken watchtower. He walked over nonetheless, but was stopped. Tell Lone Wolf to come see me, Yi Emo said. Hearing this, the 2 guards stared at Yi Emo for a long time before asking, Where do you come from? The airport here has been closed, and the ships are controlled. Just when Yi Emo wanted to kick them away, a middle-aged man ran over quickly. He pulled the 2 guards away and bowed to Yi Emo. Yi Qinbei, Li Sandao greets you. Li Sandao. Yi Emo looked at this man and immediately remembered that he was Qian Longto's trusted follower and the general of his army. Yi Emo didn't expect him to still be alive. He had left him to Lone Wolf, but now he didn't see Lone Wolf and saw him instead. Where is Lone Wolf? How come I don't see him? Yi Emo came looking for Lone Wolf. He wanted to know if Sai Na was suitable for living. Li Sandao said respectfully he passed away 2 months ago. Lone Wolf had died? Even though he had injured Lone Wolf, he was still the strongest around. How could he suddenly die? Seeing that Yi Emo wasn't happy, Li Sandao quickly informed. Lone Wolf fought with the other elders of Nanqing and was injured in a fight. Yi Emo shook his head. This Lone Wolf was indeed someone with great dreams, but low capabilities. Now that he was killed by someone, Yi Emo didn't really care. He asked Li Sandao instead, Who's managing Nanqing now then? Li Sandao didn't reply directly. He said carefully, Yi Qinbei, please come inside for a talk. Yi Emo immediately understood that Li Sandao probably wasn't the one in power. Li Sandao brought Yi Emo into a normal brick house. There were some troops guarding outside. Yi Emo looked strangely at Li Sandao. Even if Lone Wolf is no more, you must still be at the management level, right? Isn't the meeting room in a luxurious hall? Why are we at this place? Li Sandao sighed. Nanqing is already dead. It's being controlled by some Hungarian called Freddy. He is the one who killed Lone Wolf. If I were able to leave Sai Na, I would have. And because I didn't want to join his side, I've been suppressed heavily. If I didn't have a few trusted brothers, I would have been dead already. But even so, if I don't find a way to leave, I will eventually fall into his hands. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.